What is up, ladies and gentlemen? I am so excited you are here. We're gonna learn together. This is the Tarver Academy Summer Professional Development. We're gonna learn. Learning's happening. It's going down today. We're about to get started. My name is Tyler. I run Tarver Academy. It's an online resource for teachers and students and educators, and it's a great community where people just get involved and learn and get better. And I throw resources to you guys, throw ideas around. It's just a lot of fun. Just a whole lot of fun, Tarver Academy. So if you need anything, I'm here. TarverAcademy.com has a ton of resources and things that you can go to check out. A little bit about me, just so you know, you don't think I'm just like, hey, here's a random YouTuber talking about, videos or whatever. My name's Tyler. I started out teaching high school math, and then I moved into a tech director / facilitator role. Then I was a principal of a school 6th through 12th grade. 6th through 12th grade. Fun ages. That's good stuff, okay? Good stuff. Never any drama, 6th through 12th grade. No drama. And our school had waivers from the state, so we did a lot of online, we did a lot of blended, we did a lot of in-person learning, all the above. So we get to learn a lot, make some mistakes, do some stuff right, and try to learn from everything we did. Then after that, I went to central office, and I was director of curriculum instruction, and now I'm the dean of NLC College. And I'm so excited to be here, learning and growing with you guys. I'm also giving a little bit of time for people to jump in, get started, and we're about to go through some of the housekeeping stuff. We're gonna do a little check-in right now at the beginning, and then at the end of this video, at the end of this training, we're going to have a chance for you to get a certificate showing that you actually showed up and you did the learning, okay? I think that this training and the other trainings that you are gonna get the chance to be a part of this summer are gonna help you grow as an educator. And if you grow as an educator, all it does is help the students and the community that you live in. And so let's try our best to learn something, take something away from this that we can put in our repertoire and get better with. Okay, so the first thing I need you guys to do is I need us to check in, okay? And this check-in, what it does is it timestamps when you are here so that you might not need this later, but if your administrator or whoever comes back and they're like, how do I know you didn't just click to the end? This shows that you were here at the beginning. So you can scan the QR code that is on the screen if you have your cell phone. And on my phone with me, get your phone out. I'll use my wallet, Atlanta Braves wallet. Film that, you just hold your phone over that QR code that you see on the screen. You'll see something pop up at the top. Click that and it'll take you to where you can fill out that you were here. It's very short, very quick. I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to do that right now. Go ahead, scan the QR code, go to the website, check in, and when you do that, you will get an email. If you do not get an email immediately, this happened, I told you, I was a tech director for a long time, okay? I'd say a long time. I was a tech director long enough to know that if you don't get that email that you're filling out right now, it's because you typed your email address in wrong. That's exactly what happens. 19 times out of 19 and a half times, that's what happens. So go ahead and go to that. Remember, at the end of this session, there's gonna be another QR code that you're gonna scan that is going to give you the certification saying that you actually did the training. Both of these are time-stamped. So if your administrator or whoever's in charge of PD for your district wants to see that and be like, how do I know you did this? You've got your check-in email that is time-stamped by me, not by you. It's into a PDF or it's into that email. And then you will also have the timestamp on your certificate showing that you did this. Okay, so hopefully everybody is getting that done. Okay, giving you a little bit of time. If you have any trouble, just keep trying because I think it's pretty important to get that logged in. Now, while we're doing that, if you're finishing that up, or if you can hear me, what I would love for you to do is I would love for you to hit the red subscribe button. This is my YouTube channel, Tarver Academy. That's what I call it. It's kind of where I got this started. I had this before I had the website, and then I put up the website to put all the resources and all the stuff I was doing. But if you would hit the red subscribe button right now, that would be huge. That would be just super cool of you. And that way, you can hopefully see some of the other trainings that I'm doing, see some videos I do throughout the year to help teachers, to help students, to have fun and learn together. So hit that red subscribe button. Did you do it? Did you? You get the like too, the little thumbs up. That's just YouTube etiquette. You hit the thumbs up. It's just really nice to do. So you want to hit the thumbs up button, you can. And I would love to start this. How about this? in the chat, okay? Because if you're watching this on my website, which is where you can watch it, that's fine. You're not gonna see the chat, but if you click and watch this on YouTube, you're gonna see a chat rolling on the side of the screen. Start it off. I want you guys in the chat to say who you are, like give your name, tell us what you teach and where you teach, okay? If you're an administrator, you can say that I'm a principal, or you can say your central office, whatever you do. I've got some people that have signed up for this that are aspiring educators. So this is great to say, I wanna be an educator, I wanna be an English teacher for high school, throw that in there. If you wanna be a kindergarten teacher, toss that in there, say you're in school. It's a great way to network, because I think there is an amazing community of educators here wanting to learn and grow together. And I think that it's great if we look out for each other. So throw in the chat, I want you to say your name, what you teach, and where you teach. Throw that in the chat. All right, man, we're doing good. We're doing good. It's our warm up. We're feeling good. We're stretching it out. It's always good to stretch before you stretch. I don't know, I heard some friends say that, so I say it from time to time. Okay, next thing. This is another little thing. I've got one right here. So I've written a couple books. I've done Superheroes Need Sleep Too. This is a children's book. It's like a nap time book, so you don't have to read that. But this one I think is super relevant for you. This is the Baller Teacher Playbook, and in it I have like practical advice. It's 18 chapters. So the idea is that you could do this like once a week with your team for a full semester, or every other week for a year, and try to improve your teaching every week. I'm not doing this to sell it to you. I'm doing this to say I'm giving some of these away all summer to people that are participating in this. So if you want a chance to win one of these, or I think I probably got some other educator books. If you're like, I don't really want your book, Tyler, I got a ton of educator books. I'll send them to you. All you got to do, follow me on Instagram at Tyler Tarver. Follow me at Tyler Tarver on Instagram, and I'm gonna be giving these out throughout the summer. You might be the person I give it to. So follow me on Instagram, and then throw something in your Instagram story if you want, just to increase your chances of me seeing it. So I'm just gonna be clicking through. I see people follow on Instagram. I'm gonna throw out stuff to them. So random people get it. You might not, but you won't if you don't. So there we go. Y'all feeling good? Does everybody feel good? Everybody throw in the chat who they are, where they teach, what they teach. Okay, so to explain also what this is, you are watching, this is a live broadcast. So this is going as a YouTube premiere or a full-on live video. So one of the two. Either way, that chat is happening live. Everybody that jumps into this video at any point is gonna be watching it at the same time as you. So it's great to get in the chat and talk, discuss, ask questions, give input. If we ask a question in the video, you can type it in your notes, but you can also type it in the chat. You can copy paste from the chat. It's a great way for you to be a part of this live broadcast, okay? So if you have a Google Notes, if you have a notes document, if you wanna take notes by hand, I've got a template for notes if you want. It sent it to you whenever you filled out your email. It should have been on that page whenever you did your check-in at the beginning. If not, it's on like every PD page. I have my website, tarveracademy.com. Click on PD and you get a free notes template, or you can take notes in your own doc. However you want to do it, take notes, write down stuff that's relevant to you, and copy paste stuff that people put in the chat. There's gonna be people in the chat that are way smarter than me. And so I'd love for you to copy paste that into the notes, and you can take that and make your teaching game elevate. So next thing, while we're getting logged in, people are still jumping in here. They're still jumping in the video, giving you a few minutes to do that. We're also, if you want to watch these videos, because after this ends, it's going to be gone off of here. However, I'm going to be putting all of these trainings, all like 30 something trainings. I think it's over like 120 hours worth of trainings. I'm putting all of that for people that join what I call the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's a small group of educators who are trying to get better every week, and I send out weekly emails during the school year to where you're getting templates, you're getting resources, back to school starter kits, you're getting templates for Google Forms, trainings, PDs, tons of stuff every single week delivered to your inbox, and also you have access to all of these trainings. That is available if you go to tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to. I think it's a great decision. I think it's a great decision. Nobody's in here. Who am I talking to? I'm not talking to anybody. Okay, y'all feel good? Y'all ready to start? Y'all feel good? This is a little warm up. We'll explain what's going on. Everybody feel good? 1 to 10. Put in the chat how you feel today. Or give me this, how about this? Give me an emoji of how you're feeling today. That'd be better, 1 to 10, or give me an emoji. I'd love to see it. Or just give me a word. You're like, I don't want to do an emoji. Give me a word. How you feeling today? And let's get rolling. Remember, input in the chat, take notes, learn, grow. Welcome to the best professional development that you're gonna do. Not guaranteed, but it's an opinion, but it's also true, but it might be biased, but it's gonna be a great summer. It's gonna be a great training. Hope you guys learn something. Hope this adds you value that you can then bring to your students and make your school, your community, yourself better in some way. Guys, we're about to get started. Y'all excited? Y'all ready? We're about to do this. Let's get ready to learn and have fun. Tarver Academy. Let's go. Let's go. Hit it. Let's go. Welcome to the Resource Creator Starter Kit. What is this? What is this session about? Well, hopefully you've read the description, but if not, I'll kind of summarize it for you and how we're going to do today. I think that one of the things that I love doing and that I've found over the past couple of years that has been something that I've leaned into is creating resources that add value to educators. Okay, so teachers, administrators, pretty much anybody that I think can benefit. And here's my thing. I want to save people time. That's one of my key things. So everything I do, I'm trying to help teachers, whether they don't have to look for it and find it, or they can save them time in their classroom, help them be organized. Okay, we're going to get into that. But the idea for today's session is that we go through different resources, thought process, and creating those resources, and how you can get in the habit of creating valuable resources for other educators, whether it's for yourself, your team, your school, or people around the world. So the way this is going to roll, this first section, I'm going to kind of give you some tips on mindset, and then I'm going to go through a bunch of resources. I'm just going to go through resources, give you some thought process, why I'm doing certain things, why I did certain things I would do different had I known what I know now. And then after that, I've got my friend Nadine Gilkison. She is a resource creator extraordinaire. She makes some of the most incredible resources I've seen for educators, and they're on the internet, they're everywhere there. She is phenomenal, much better than me. It's not a competition. If it was, she would win, but I would gladly ride her coattails. She makes some incredible resources. She's got a session she's going to do where she talks through how educators can make meaningful resources. And so she's going to do that. And then after that, I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough. I say quick walkthrough. It's going to take a little bit of time, but we're going to walk through two of my favorite platforms and how those would mesh together. And that's where we go from creating a lesson plan in Canva and importing it into Google Slides so that we can create a resource for ourselves or for other educators around the world. So to get started, I'm going to give you some thought processes as you look at creating resources. One of the key factors that I've found when creating resources where it adds value to people is whenever it is something that saves people time. As educators, whenever I was a teacher and when I was an administrator, it's like it feels so often like you will get resources like thrown at you. You'll get, or not resources, you'll get like assignments or things to do, or like, hey, you got to learn this new program, or you add this into your lesson. You've got to do this now. You get things added at you all the time. And you're like, this is going to take an extra 20 minutes a day or 2 hours a week or 30 minutes here. But it's never like you were just chilling and you were like, oh, that's cool. I had like 2 hours a day. I was just like hanging out. So this will be great. I can add this in. And too often we don't take things off of our plate. So when I do trainings on Google, when I work with schools, when I'm consulting, I always do my best to think, how can we, one, get rid of stuff that we don't need? How can we get rid of that? How can we get that off of our plate? If we're like, this isn't required by the department or required by the board, this is not required. Next question is it helpful? Is it adding value to ourselves and our teaching or to our students or our community? If it's not required and it's not adding value, drop that mug. Now, if it is required, like you have to do it because it's your job, or if it is helpful for students, how can we make that more efficient? And so whenever I'm trying to come up with resources to create, whenever I'm like, hey, I want to make this template or this digital interactive notebook or this online journal, whatever it is I'm trying to create, I try to think to myself, what is something that I wish I had had when I was in the classroom or when I was an administrator or when I was a student? What's something I wish I would have had that would help me be more efficient or more organized or just save me time and money whenever I'm doing this? So whenever I'm creating resources, the first thing I think is, okay, what is something I would like to have? That's my first thing. Like, what is something I would have liked to have in the classroom? And I'm going to talk through some of that when we go through some of these. But the bell ringer one, that was a big one for me. I was using like these old ACT Aspire like released items, and I'm rolling in and I'm just like, okay, next question. I write it on the board. I would rather have somebody like explaining to them on video how to do the problem as they worked it with them. That is teaching built in while I do all my admin stuff. So me creating that resource came out of the fact that like, this is something I wish I had when I was teaching. And so I try to think through that process. How could it save me time or say like enhance the learning? And I feel like that resource is a perfect model of something that did both. It saved me that time at the beginning so I could take roles, send emails, follow up with students that missed school. And then also it did the thing of actually like teaching them lessons while we're teaching the class. So that was the thought process. How can you be more efficient and how can you expand the learning in your classroom? Another thing that you can do is whenever you're making these resources, whenever I make a resource, if I'm like kind of run out of ideas, I'm like, I don't know what to make. One, I'll ask people on like TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, I'll be like, hey, what resource do you guys need? So like whenever it was like last summer, I made a couple of resources and I put a TikTok out there and I was like, hey, I want to make some more resources. What do you guys need? And a bunch of people said digital interactive notebooks. And I'm thinking to myself like, okay, I know what all three of those words mean individually, but I'm not sure what they mean all together. So I did a little bit of research. I Googled some stuff, found some things. I was like, okay, I've got an idea of a something I could build off of this, something I could create out of this, like in this world. And that's what I created. And I've really enjoyed making those templates for journals and interactive notebooks. And it's like essentially like a packet, a digital packet. And honestly, I had not put respect on the name of Google Slides like I should have. I thought Google Slides, like, oh, okay, it's just like a watered down PowerPoint that you can access anywhere. Oh, how wrong I was, because Google Slides is actually like one of the top 3 GOAT tools. Like if you got like, if we're talking GOATs, we're talking like Jordan, LeBron, and Kareem. That's got to be Google Forms. It's got to be Google Slides, and it's got to be Google Classroom. Like those 3 are the GOATs when it comes to, Google Workspace for Education programs. Okay, so forgot what I was saying out of that. Why did I bring that up? The digital interactive notebooks and using Google Slides. So like that program I learned just by asking, crowdsourcing, like, what do you guys need? I'll start making that resource for you. And here's another one, and I don't know if like I'm allowed to say this, but honestly, I'll just roll over to Teachers Pay Teachers and I'll look and see what's popular. Because usually if something's trending or something's doing well, it means the teachers need it. And I'm sitting here thinking like, okay, well, I could go in and I could find this resource and, teachers could pay $2 or $10 or $20 for it. Or I could spend, 1 or 2 or 6 or 12 hours, or in the case of Rock the Quote, like, 80 or 90 hours. I could go in and spend that time creating that resource and then giving it to teachers for free. Okay. And so now I'm not saying that whenever you create resources, you have to offer it for free. Absolutely not saying that. Like, I don't look down on anybody that sticks something on Teachers Pay Teachers. Like, I have a few resources of mine. Like, I've got a library of resources I'm going to show you and walk through. But a few of those resources are on Teachers Pay Teachers. They get it for free on my website, or they can pay on Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, I stuck them up there, and I honestly, I want to put like all of mine up there, but it's just time consuming. And I'm like, okay, I'm trying to create the next resource when I should put it up there. But here's the deal. If you're like doing this and you're like, you know what, I made this resource or I built this lesson plan. I know facilitators that have worked with me that built this incredible lesson plan. And they were like, hey, can I put this on TPT and make some money on the side? I was like, absolutely, you can. Like, as long as it doesn't break the policies for your school and those overlap and your administrator is okay with it, then I say go for it. And I encourage my teachers. I'm like, yes, if you're going to go out of your way, because here's the deal. If they go out and they make a great, curriculum map for, 3rd grade or whatever it is, why would I not want to add that value to other educators around the world? And if it can help get my teachers side money for what they're already creating, why would I not encourage that? That was my perspective as an administrator. Not everybody's on board with that. I get there's reasons, blah, blah, blah. I don't think they're good reasons, but then again, I'm not their boss, so I can't tell them what to do. I'm not their boss yet. I'm just kidding. Not their boss. So whenever you're creating, obviously check if it's something you're doing on your work time, make sure that your administrator or your boss is okay with it. However, whenever you're creating these things, don't feel bad if you're putting it up for money. Your time is worth money. Okay. And so so I'm just going to tell you I'm going to tell you my personal journey with this, my thought process. And you honestly, you decide and pick what you're wanting to do. You're here for a reason. You're here because you either want to create resources for yourself, your team, or you want to create resources to put out there for free or to put out there to make side money, which is super helpful to go on vacations or buy things for Christmas. Like, how many of us as educators do side jobs? I shot over 80 weddings outside of working in education because we needed the side money because my wife wanted to stay home with our kids. So it's we all have our own reasons for doing this. I tutored after school back before the No Child Left Behind money ran out, and did that after school. And then I did that 4 days a week from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. after I got done teaching. You do that stuff. Why not be able to make money with the stuff you're spending your time creating? And so anybody that looks down on that, you just gotta honestly just ignore the haters. Is that something? Do we still say that? Haters. I'm sorry. That's my best Kanye impression. Haters. He doesn't talk like that. I don't know why I said he does. But here's the deal. You just do what you feel comfortable with and you put it out there. And here's the deal. The market's going to decide. If you make something and you charge a certain amount of money for it and nobody buys it, either one, nobody knows it exists, or two, it's overpriced. My personal journey with this is whenever I started creating YouTube videos back in 2007 or 8, and I'm putting up full geometry lessons, math stuff. When I became a principal, I would put out on video or on Twitter, I'd be like, hey, if you're a student and you want help with math, hit me up, screenshot the picture or take a picture with your phone, put it on Twitter, which is a public forum. So they're not sending me pictures behind the scenes. That'd be weird. And so they're putting it out there in a public forum. They're sending me the problem. I uploaded it into Explain Everything. It was an app on my iPad. I would upload after work was over and I'm done for the day. I had a long drive home. It was an hour and 10 minutes where we lived from where I worked. And so I would import into Explain Everything their question. I would hit record. I would work the problem. And then I would export it. And while I'm driving home, I would have it rendering and uploading into YouTube. And I'm putting those resources out for students. Well, a few years later, fast forward a little bit, and I started putting out resources for teachers. And here's the deal. Personally, I always felt bad charging money for any of that stuff. So I'm like, hey, I just want to help educators. I want to help teachers. A couple of them I was doing in the course of my job. I'm making this for my teachers, or I'm making this for my school or whoever. And other times it was stuff that I created for them. And then a couple years later, I'm like, hey, this might help other people. So I make a generic version and I put it out there. I did that with my curriculum app, which hopefully I'll show you in a second if I ever stop talking. And so whenever you are making these, or whenever I was making those resources, I'm putting them out for free. Now, currently I still put all of my resources out for free. Now, I heard somebody talk about this on TikTok the other day, and they were charging $1.50 for something that was a super awesome resource. And they were like, you know what? I learned because I think she had a graphic design degree, and she learned in school, my time is valuable to me. That's worth money to me. And so it's I'm sitting here thinking I've got these resources and I want to provide them to teachers. And I was like, but it would be super cool if I was able to make side money doing this, because then I could film less weddings on the side, which gives me more time to make more resources for teachers. So do you get the dynamic there? Sometimes if you're working a side gig, my mom, she sold watches at Dillard's for 3 months leading up to Christmas, every year when I was growing up, so she could make side money to buy us Christmas presents. Okay. And she was a teacher. And so it's if we can make that side money, that frees us up to make more resources to provide more things for educators, whether they're free or paid. And so the way I did it, I'll tell you mine, because I'm still trying to figure this out. And if you have any thoughts or ideas, throw them in the chat. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. Be kind. That's rule number one. Be kind to people, because some people might want to charge, some people might want to be free. I've found a combination of both that I think is a good balance to where I can still add a lot of value to people for free. However, there's opportunity if people see the value in it, where I can make money from it to help me create more resources and do more for educators. And so the way I've got it set up, and you can use this idea if you got any questions, throw it in the chat. I would love to see them. And so what I did was, and I'll show you my website. So let me pop the link up real quick, and I'm going to walk you through, and then we're actually going to do a walkthrough of the resources. Okay. So I'm going to put this on the screen so you can see what that looks like. tarveracademy.com/resources. Okay. So you go here, it's a website, and I'll show you all the stuff that's free. And then I'll show you my thought process on what I like have is like, they call it like a paywall, like you pay the pay to play paywall, whatever they call it. This is where like you step in and you're like, okay, cool. I'm willing to pay money to learn that skill set. So let me show you. So here we go. So this is tarveracademy.com/resources. So right here, this is my Google Teacher cheat sheet, Google Student cheat sheet, and Remote Learning cheat sheet for parents. These are all free. You click these, you can either view my copy or create your own copy. And I tell teachers, I tell them, if you've been with me in any of the summer PD, if you've been with me in any of the PDs I've done in person at schools or trainings, I tell teachers, I was like, look, take my resources, make a copy, delete my name if you want to. Make sure you subscribe. That'd be cool. But delete my name if you want to. Make it your resource. You can add value. You can use my presentation, make a copy, and put it out there for your educators. Okay. So I try to explain here my thought process on what I'm doing, and I'll show you here in a second. So here is like, these are my three main ones. I put those up here with photos. But down here, these are all of my resources. So everything over here on the left, you see like digital interactive notebooks, you got lesson plans, team meeting agendas, all this stuff right here are free resources. If you click on that or anybody clicks on that, it's going to request them to make a copy, and then they have that. They have that template that they can edit and change and make theirs. I don't have access to it. Now, my thought process on what I can like essentially, make money from this, because a lot of these resources, a lot of these things cost, these almost everything on here, or I say that, literally everything on here, if it's created, it's on TPT. Like somebody's probably making a version of this on Teachers Pay Teachers. Now, I will say this is not cool. I've heard of people that will take free resources that educators make, like myself. I think Nadine's had it happen to her. A couple people, they'll make free resources. Other people will go in, make a copy, delete that person's name off of it, and sell it. That, honestly, that's not cool. Okay. That's borderline like theft, right? Because it's like their intellectual property. Now, granted, you can take an idea. I think I'm not the like expert on copyright, but you can take an idea and you can go in and you can like create your own version of that, and you can take your own version of that, and then you can like build a resource similar. I think that's okay because you're creating the resource. But if you make a copy and then you just like change the name, that's tu es muy no bueno, in my opinion. But again, I'm not the police. But I always tell people, make a copy and you can take my name off and use it for your school or for people or when you're presenting. So here we go. So these are all like resources that I've created that are completely free to educators. Okay. They're completely free to educators to make a copy and use. Now, where my thought process was like, what value can I add outside of this so that people would actually pay money and do? And so one of the things, I've got two. Okay. So I started out doing a Patreon. Does anybody in the chat, have you ever heard of Patreon? And then if you have heard of Patreon, are there any Patreons that you actually pay money to? So I'll show you two Patreons. So the first one, I'll show you my friend Retro Rick, and then I'll show you mine. So Patreon Retro Rick. Okay. So my friend Rick Hutchinson, he has a YouTube channel called Retro Rick. It's where he takes like 80s and 90s, like retro gaming stuff. And he goes in and he like makes videos and puts them on YouTube. Well, he was like, this is great. And I'm spending a ton of extra time in my spare time creating this stuff. How can I make money out of this so that it helps my family? My wife started staying home. We just had another kid. And what he did was he is creating 80s and 90s nostalgia videos. Now, his videos are free to watch on YouTube. Now, what he does is he essentially, if you want to join his club or his membership, it's almost like a country club, if you will. If you want to join his membership, you would go in and pay $3 a month. And with that, you get like 20% off anything that he sells in his Instagram store. You get to help choose the topics of videos. You get like certain materials for buying and reselling to work on your side hustle. So like he's got a spreadsheet of popular like DVDs and video games where people that are going to like Goodwill or yard sales can buy them and flip them and make some money. And then on there, he'll have like all these videos. So like here's his trailer video. And then these are all things that you can unlock by joining. And $3 a month is not bad if this is something you're into. Now, granted, we're all educators. So, and I don't know of a ton of educators that are a ton of educators that are doing this. If they are, cool, great, more power to them. Throw in the chat if you know any educators that are doing Patreons. I've got one. I'm not saying you should go do it, but I'll show you if you want to take a look at it. It's patreon.com/Tyler Tarver. And my thought process from this was all of these resources are free to use for your classroom. What I've also created and spent time doing outside of actually making them, I went in and made walkthroughs on how to use them. Okay. So it's like on TikTok, if I go and I'm like, hey, you want these digital interactive notebooks? You can do this, this, and this, blah, blah, blah. It's like a minute or less. It's pretty quick. It's pretty rapid fire when it comes to explaining that resource. Well, this walkthrough is either a walkthrough of how to use it. Like, hey, I would take this. I would go into Google Classroom. I would do this. I would do this. It's like a step-by-step walkthrough for teachers on how to implement this into their classroom. Now, not every teacher needs that, so they could just make a copy for free. And then if they wanted those resources, they could do it. Now, also, I've started creating walkthroughs of how to create some of these resources. So I told you, like, I've got a session, then Nadine's got a session. And at the end, I'm going to do a full walkthrough on creating a resource starting in Canva and then getting it into Google Slides. That video is a resource that usually costs money that somebody can watch either on my Patreon or what I call on my honor roll. Okay. So this is, think through to yourself, how would I create this? What service could I offer where people would pay money for me to create these resources? Or again, if you're going to do free, that's fine. But I'm walking through for people that would want to make money. So you can list them individually on Teachers Pay Teachers. And if somebody finds it, they can buy it and you can make money from it. Now, here's the thing, the issue I always have, not an issue, but a thought process from one entrepreneur to another. Whenever you rely on a website like Teachers Pay Teachers or YouTube or TikTok or anything like that, when you're relying on these other places and essentially relying on the algorithm or that company, one, they're going to take a chunk of that money, which is fine. That's understand they're providing a service or a framework or whatever. But the big thing is you don't control their algorithm. So you might have a resource on Teachers Pay Teachers that pops off one month and you get like a ton of attention and you get it downloaded, it's downloaded 10,000 times in 1 month. And you're like, oh my goodness, yes. And then you're like, okay, cool, we can plan on this. Within the next month, it might not pop to the top or might not be as relevant in TPT. Teachers Pay Teachers might not push it. And then you drops and you sell 3 of them. You don't control them. So whenever you're creating something like this, where it's a membership, either through, Patreon or Squarespace or whatever you're creating your membership through, you get to control that. Like if that audience finds you and you push them there, then you have them as long as they see what you're offering is valuable and worth the value they're putting into it. So this one, so I've got 2 levels for this. And this, again, this is not a pitch for you to hit up my Patreon, okay? I'm showing you this so that you can think through what value can I add for people as I create resources if you do want to make money out of it. So for $3 a month, that means they get access to this directory I made. It's like this big spreadsheet of all of these tutorials and resources where people can use it in a spreadsheet. They get access to all the virtual summer PD, which is what you're watching right now. They get resources and templates for their classroom. PD, like pretty much anything I create, whether I'm doing it in person or recording on here, I'll put on here for them to watch. Now, for $7, that's the Google Training Track. They get actually more in-depth videos where we go through, like 1 month, we learned a bunch of stuff in depth on Google Slides. 1 month, we went in on Google Forms. It's like we're really leaning into, like, I want to learn how to create these resources. I want to learn how to use this platform. So it's like an in-depth training that I do weekly for them. Okay. So that's the idea. So if you're taking notes, if you're thinking through, like, what is something I can offer to people, either free or paid or a combination of both, think through what is the value of that to someone else to where they would click and purchase. Okay. Now, this is where I think I've got like 65 people on here, which is really cool. Like, those people, I respect that community. I love that community. And I try to provide them value every single week because these people are paying money. And I respect that because here's the deal. I have made so many free resources for so long and had zero attention, to where the fact that I am extremely humbled and honored when somebody's willing to put $3 a month towards something that I made or produced. That has an extreme amount of respect with me, and I don't want to take advantage of that. So whatever you do, if you're asking people for money, don't think you deserve it or they owe it to you or whatever, just because you put whatever in. Respect that people have chosen to put a portion of their finances your way because of something you're offering, okay? And I think that's honestly, that's just a personal attitude I have. I'm grateful and humble about it. And I think that most of us should have that. And I think that honestly, as educators, I think most of us are. If you're willing to put time and effort into creating free or paid resources for people, you have the heart of like, hey, I want to help people. But also you value your time, okay? So that's one way you can try to make money out of it. You can go to Teachers Pay Teachers and upload them as individual downloads that people pay for, or you can do Patreon. Now, I'm going to show you the other one that I utilize. So here is, my website provider, if you've heard of Squarespace, I think they sponsor the New York Knicks. So Squarespace is my website. It's what I host my website through. They have a feature built in where you can actually like sell things through your website. So I pay like an extra amount a year to the website to where I can have stuff like this. So if you signed up for the premium trainings, if you're in premium training right now, you get access to all that. You bought it through here. Now I'm offering a third of all these trainings for free throughout the summer. So I'm still providing free value to people if they're willing to work their schedule around it. But then I also offer triple that if they bought in for $38. Now, I thought this was pretty fair because it's like $38 gets you, 120 trainings. I mean, think of how much you pay if you went to a PD. It feels like that was pretty fair. And that's Tyler's opinion, but who cares what Tyler thinks? It matters if people are willing to pay for it. So it allows me to sell things from mine. So essentially, I can create a Teachers Pay Teachers on my website. As you can tell, I've only got 2 out of my like 50 resources on here because I just stick them out for free and then I move on to the next thing. I need to put them on here because, and here's the deal, somebody could pay for this or they can go download it for free. What they get if they pay for it is they get the video walkthrough. So it's like, I don't want to subscribe monthly to your Patreon or your honor roll. I'm going to go in and do this. Okay. So you're going to go in and you can create these to where people can look at it and say, oh, that's worth, that digital baller lesson plan, weekly lesson plan is worth $2 to me. I'll purchase that for $2. Okay. So that's one. Here's the one that I've been leaning into. And so if you've been to any of my PDs, I made like one of the breaks is a commercial for this. I think I'd have to, hold on, let me switch out and share a different screen. So I'm going to swap that. Hey, what's up, guys? I'm a lot larger than real life. Okay. That's larger than real life. That's not, I was trying to think of the Backstreet Boys song in the chat. What is the greatest Backstreet Boys song ever made? There actually is a correct answer here. So tell me what it is. Okay. So I'm about to show you the other one, and then we're going to go through and do kind of a rapid fire on all the resources because I feel like I've covered a lot of like what you can do with the resources you're creating. Then I want to talk through actually doing those resources. So let me do this. Let me share my screen. Let me actually remove this screen. Remove, stop that. All right, share screen. Okay, so this is the one I've kind of leaned into, and this is the one, if you've seen this, there's been a commercial, like, let's say commercial. It's like me talking about this and seeing if it would correlate with what value you want. And so if you're serious about creating resources, if you're serious about like, hey, I have a service or training, a resource, something to offer people, and I think it's valuable enough for people to pay for, I highly recommend you get a Square, and I don't work for Squarespace. They're not paying me. I know they sponsor a lot of people who want to sponsor me Squarespace. I accept, but I'm not on there. I highly recommend you start a Squarespace website of what you have. And then I recommend that you create some sort of membership on there. And so what I've got is, this is kind of like my honor roll. Pretty much this is all access to every training, every walkthrough, everything that I've created goes into this honor roll. And I'll click the link if you're interested, if you want to. No big deal. Follow your heart, whatever. You do whatever. Again, this is not just like, oh, it's just one big ad for his honor roll. No, it's not. I'm walking you through what you could create so you can think of ideas. Okay, so chill. All right. So I'm kidding. I came in very aggressive. I'm not being aggressive, I promise. I think you're great. I see in the chat, the correct answer for the best Backstreet Boys song ever made is Everybody. And that's absolutely great. Everybody, yeah. A lot of people might not believe this, but I've never had professional training when it comes to singing. I know you have the voice of an angel and people are like, what? You trained for years? Absolutely not. It's natural. Okay. So if you go to tarveracademy.com/honor roll, this is my membership. So what I did was I set it up to where it's like a yearly membership for people. And here's what that looks like. Okay. Again, guy that creates 99% of what I create is free, completely free to people. For that 1% though, that want to go on and learn and have access to stuff, I put in this honor roll. And whenever I'm sitting here thinking like, what could I do, or how could I want to offer for free, but then how would I create these resources and do something to where I can not have to film, 30 weddings a year? Created this. So under here, these people get access to all of my all of my summer trainings, like all 120 sessions. They click here and they get the calendar to go to all of it. Okay. So they get access to all of it. So you're thinking, well, then you could have just bought the premium for $38 and you're good to go. Why would I pay? I think it's at $92 a year is what it costs for my honor roll. And my reasoning for doing yearly is because I worked in education. A lot of districts, if you see like something that can be valuable to your teaching, a lot of times your district will reimburse you for it. And so my thought was, instead of districts, they're not going to sign up for something monthly very often. Now I have had a few buildings and districts sign up to get this for their whole building. And that's just something I work out with them. And then I give them access to it all year for their whole building. But the idea is that one teacher could come in, they pay $92 and they get access to all of my summer trainings. Not only when they roll live, like you're watching this possibly, or maybe you are watching pre-recorded and you're on the honor roll. What's up, player? How you living? Then also at the end of the week, every week, I'm putting links to where people can click and watch any of my sessions on demand. So these are all rolling live. Now, if people are like, hey, I would like to go there and walk through this or maybe use it with my students or go through with my teachers or whatever, they can sign up for the honor roll and then they can watch, pause, replay. They can go back through as much as they want through the trainings that I'm doing this summer. So they get access to all of them as they roll live. They get access to them all year long. So anytime, it's like, have you ever heard of like masterclass? Like where you learn film from Martin Scorsese or learn how to shoot from Steph Curry. That's what this is. Essentially, it's like access to master classes for all these trainings for teachers. Okay. Then from September until the end of May, every week, I email out So here's an example. So I send this email. I did this for the end of the year for my honor roll. So they get weekly emails delivered to them. So it's like I go and take even more time creating this email specifically for these people that sign up for my honor roll. And so I'm going to send it out. It's going to have this on it. I'm going to make like a few fun comments. I always put a teacher education meme in here. Then I say, welcome back to the honor roll. Then I give them like either a template or a training or a resource, some sort of resource that can help them. This one I did end of year course evaluation, Google Forms, gave them that form. I explain it in a fun way. I think it's fun. Then I give them very clear instructions on how to use that for their classes. Then I always do like 5 quick tips. I call them quickity quick flippity tips. I don't know. It's dumb. I probably need to change that title. In the chat, what is a better title for this than what I just called that? Okay. So these are like 5 quick video tips. They're a minute or less. I got a mystery tip, stuff like that. Then here's one of the big ones. They get to actually choose what resources and trainings and things that I create. So it's like, that's common with a lot of creators that make stuff for free, but then they have like memberships. So if you're creating stuff for free, you're creating resources. One way you could offer a value to other people is saying like, hey, you can give suggestions and I'll put your ideas first. You get to choose what resource I make. So it's like, I could join the honor roll. I'm getting all this stuff. And then also I'm like, hey, I need a daily student reflection journal. You could go in and you could suggest that. And then I'll probably create it. And I'll put in the list and create it first before I create anything else. Roll in. And then it just says goodbye. And I say, thanks for being a part of the Tarver Academy honor roll. So they get all the stuff. Like it's like I've compiled literally everything into this. And so it's like you can offer 99% of what you do for free. I've got thousands of free videos on there. But if you want access to this other side of it or this organization, and like I've got also, that's just that one email. Sorry, I didn't finish going through this. And then what I do is I also like what you just saw with those resources. I put those in here as well. So those are the emails I sent. And then we go mailbag so they can ask the questions from here. And then what I do is I organize all of those templates and walkthroughs. And there's the links to all those walkthroughs. So when you saw those walkthroughs over there on the free page, now they can come here and they can just click in here and watch. Start of the semester stuff, lesson planning, activities, all this stuff. And then they get access to a bunch of other resources I've created and then all these other quick tip trainings. So essentially, it's like my kind of tagline I've used recently is Netflix for teachers. So when you're creating it, if you're building this membership, we can talk all that. I think I have a session called like, what is it? What is this? Let's actually click on it and find it. So if you're rolling in and you're like, I want to see, oh, sorry, I clicked back. It's something about creating, like if you want to actually create the stuff for social media, I think is what it is. That's what it is. So, okay. So that's the idea. So think through if you're wanting, like if you're wanting to just be like, no, I'm just going to make it, put it for free. Cool. Get a website. I recommend if you're going to use it here, if you're just going to put anything link in bio, or if you're going to put it on a website, here's the website I recommend, and it is free. They have paid versions, but the free one's totally fine. I don't see it. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Go to bit.ly/Tarver Solo. You can create this. It's like a link in bio, but also, and this is where I like push people to all the time, is, hey, I've got the resource here, link in my bio. What you can do is you can have them email you, text you, all your social media, and then you can organize all of your resources, trainings. Like this is what mine looks like. Super easy to use and super free. You can pay if you're like, oh, I need this feature or this feature, but honestly, the free one's probably going to work fine. So go check that out, create that. If you're going to make resources, you need a place to put them. I recommend using Solo. It's better than Linktree. It's better than Tap.bio. I've had those before. This is the move. I promise you, use bit.ly/Tarver Solo and sign up for that. Okay? Sweet. So here's a list. These are a lot of my resources too. So if I talk about something, you can go in here under templates or resources and use those resources. Okay? Sweet. We're going to go through on my website if that's okay with you, if you're not going to get upset. But I'm going to go to tarveracademy.com/resources, and we're just going to do kind of a rapid fire talk through of all these resources, how I created them, why, stuff like that. I'm not going to sit there and go like, oh, walkthrough. That would be like a 20-hour video if I'm doing walkthroughs on all this. But I do want to talk through some of these resources and the thought process behind them, and then what you could possibly do to get them out to the world. Okay, so let me switch this in case somebody bounces in. Let's give them a link to where we are right now. Excellent. tarveracademy.com/resources. Okay, so this first one, this resource, this is a fun one to make. So right here, I've got the Google Teacher cheat sheet. When we went and everybody's having, like the pandemic hit and everybody's having to learn on their own, or not saying learn on their own, they're having to learn on the fly. They haven't used technology. I had the chance to be like super involved with using Google and Drive and all this stuff. Not Google and Drive. Why did I say that? Google and all of the programs inside of Google. I've been using them for several years because we did like an online school, blended learning. I was a principal and I just had to learn it in the process of what I was doing. And so I've been creating Google resources and doing trainings and stuff for years. And then when that hit, I was like, oh goodness, these teachers need help with a lot of this stuff. Now, before I show you that, I want to show you, I'm going to show you what happened before that. Okay, so you ready? So if you go to bit.ly/gtarver, okay, bit.ly/gtarver, it's going to go to what I call is the Google Certified Level 1 Educator cheat sheet. Okay, so this was like the first, I've made videos for years. I've made a couple templates. This was the first like monster resource I made, like one that took me well over like 100+ hours. That's an exaggeration. I'd say, I mean, it was like 3 hours a night, every night for 3 months. I'd say overall for literally making the videos, putting it in here, all this stuff, I mean, it took well over minimum 40 to 50 hours. I'd probably say closer to 70 or 80. I'm literally just guessing. I have no idea. In the chat, how many hours did I spend on this? You can tell me. So here's what I did. I had a resource. There's a resource from a Google trainer named Eric Kurtz. He's fantastic, okay? Fantastic educator, great resource creator, awesome for teachers. So his name's Eric Kurtz. Eric had a checklist of skills people could use or skills people needed to know if they wanted to be a Google Level 1 certified educator. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, this, and I know Eric, we've made resources, we've done trainings, I've seen him at conferences, super cool guy. And I'd like admired a lot of his stuff. And I saw this checklist and I'm like, this is incredible. Like this is the checklist. It's all these skills. And he had listed all of these. Well, actually I can show you what it looked like. So this is what it looks like now. I can show you what it looked like when he created it because I made a copy of it and I made a copy of that list. Now I will tell you this, anytime you take someone else's resource and you are going to like make an adaptation of it, is that a phrase? Make an adaptation of it. If you're going to adapt someone else's resource and use it as your own, you need to get permission. Okay. That's resource etiquette. So what I did was I made a copy of his checklist, which his checklist looked like this in 2017. He had it on, he still has it on his website. Skill checklist, Google Certified Educator Level 1. He's got a table of contents, and then he listed out all these skills that people need to know to be a certified level 1 educator. Now, my idea was that's cool, but if I don't, like, say I'm using this checklist and I don't know how to use, let's say I don't know how to create a Google document. What do I do if I want to learn that? So I thought, well, you know what? And I was literally, I'm telling you the process, I'm thinking to myself, okay, I would like to just click on it and have someone teach me how to do it. So I reached out to Eric. I'm going to call him Eric. Like, we're good buds. I do know him. I think he'd be cool if we call him Eric. I mean, I've called him Eric to his face. So yeah. So I reached out to Eric Kurtz and I was like, hey man, this resource, incredible. I love what you've created. Would you be okay with me making a copy of it and putting in links to tutorial videos of how to do these things? And he said yes. If he had said no, I would not have done it. I would have been like, oh, okay, well, I'm doing it anyways. I would have made my own list from my own thought process and tried to build it out. Now, he said yes, of course you can, and I don't even know, he may have asked for credit. I don't even know if he asked for credit in it, but I left, like, right here, videos by me, and then list by Eric Kurtz. So the list is right there. You click it and you go to his website. And I think it's in the footer too. If not, I've taken the footer. Nope, he's in the footer. Me and Eric and I are both in the footer as well if you want to go check him out. Now, my thought was, okay, I'm going to take this and I'm going to make videos. And I already had several Google tutorial videos that I'd made for my teachers. So like when I was at central office, if anybody had trouble or needed help with anything Google, instead of me like, okay, what's your prep period? Okay, I'm going to change my meetings around. I'm going to go over there. I'm going to spend 3 minutes showing them a tutorial. I would just say, hey, what do you need to know? Cool. I'd make a video and I'd send it to them. And that created a video out of it. So sometimes whenever I was making, like I took something from the Department of Ed, I used to be in charge of mentor teachers for our district. And so I think they called project director. So I was project director for mentor teachers at our district. So I oversaw new teachers and their mentor and them meeting and helping out new teachers. They gave me something and I was like, how can we make this more organized? So I'm making it as organized as I could. And then I'm making tutorial videos in case somebody doesn't know how to upload a document or somebody doesn't know how to make a copy of something. I'm making those videos because that's how I would want it to be explained. I always, every time I'm making a resource or creating something or trying to explain something, I think of that line from The Office. In the chat, who is your favorite Office character? In the chat, who is your favorite Office character? Okay. In The Office, there's a spot where Oscar is trying to explain something to Michael Scott. And Michael Scott hears him explain it. Then he looks at him. He goes, explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old. Okay. I'm not saying educators are the mind of a 5-year-old. Educators are very smart and talented and gifted, and they have bachelor's degrees. So they're very smart all the way around. However, if you jump into something without context or you don't understand what's being said, you're confused and you want to check out. So whenever I'm creating something or when I'm wanting to like walk somebody through something, I want to give tutorials on literally everything I can to help them in the process. Okay. So I was making those videos and I was like, all right, I'm going to start attaching them in here. And so what I did was I just started create like every night from like 8 p.m. to midnight, I'm sitting here recording videos on my computer, and then I'm importing them into Final Cut Pro, and then I'm exporting them, and then I'm uploading them into YouTube. And so I'm sitting here making these videos every night, and you can see my progress. Like this is me working on it. So like, here we go. All right, here's one I did. I was working on it at 11 p.m., June 3rd, 2019. I think I had them all in. Oh, let's go back. Let's go back further. Where we're going, we don't need roads. What is that from? In the chat, what is that from? Where we're going, we don't need roads. So here we are. So my process was, okay, I'm going in and I'm making videos for all this. I'd made all the Google Drive videos. I made all these docs ones. Now, if it was red, that meant that I had recorded it, but I had not uploaded it yet. So I wanted to make sure I didn't like do it again. So you got to figure out your process when you're creating these resources. And I'm going in and I've still got all these to go. So I went in and made tutorial videos for every single one of these instructional things that Eric had. So I took his list, made a copy, edited it to make all these links on there. And then now if somebody's like, oh, I want to learn, I want to pass the level 1 exam, I need to know how to create a Google Doc, they can click this. It goes to a YouTube video here. Now, see how I integrated Google Docs with YouTube? like you can mash across these different platforms. And here it goes. They have a video, and they can just, boom, I'm going to hit that like button. Make sure y'all hit the like button in this video. That'd be nice. Actually, more importantly, hit the red subscribe button. That'd be dope. So this is me going through explaining the video in 3 minutes on how to do that. Okay. So here's the deal, guys. And this is the thought: as you make resources, do not get discouraged. I went in and I created this, and I'm not going to lie. I thought it took me so much time. And I sit here and thought, this is an incredible, like, this is it. This is an amazing resource that can help educators. I put it out there. Like, I think I put it on Twitter is where I put, because there's a ton of educators on Twitter. And I put it out there and I was like, oh, great. They're going to love it. It got some retweets, but it never, like, it did not take off. People maybe looked at it and then didn't come back. Like, it did not have the legs that I thought it would. I think it was going to, I thought people would love it and it would go crazy and be great. It did not have the impact that I thought it would. Don't put all your eggs in one resource basket. Don't be like, I'm going to make this one resource. Okay. I mean, actually, Nadine's got a couple resources that, like, I think everybody used at least 5 times. They're absolutely incredible. And so whenever you are creating these, you put it out there, you give it as much marketing as you can, but keep in mind this. Okay. So I did all these videos back in like 2019, I think, is when I finished this, put it out there, boom, here you go, world. And the world's just like, meh, we're good. Then the pandemic hit and everybody started working on their stuff at, like, from home. Like, they're working remotely, they're working virtual, like they're trying to learn all this stuff like on a whim. And I'm sitting here thinking, I just recorded like 300 plus Google tutorial videos that might help teachers during this time. However, I said, hey guys, here's the skill checklist. Sometimes it's not about the resource you made. It's about the package you're putting it in. So let me show you something right here. I took this, and this is a lot of videos. Well, more the better. Sometimes we need to simplify those resources. And what I did was I took that and I repackaged it into a Google cheat sheet for teachers. When I made this resource and put it out there, it's not like I had to go in, like, all these links, all these blue words are tutorial videos. Guess what? I made them a year before the pandemic. And all I'm doing now is bringing out the ones that are the most important. And I'm tossing them in like, okay, here's some stuff for Google Classroom you're probably going to hit trouble with. Docs, sheets, slides, forms, meet. I'm going in and I'm like, I've already got all this stuff. I've already created the content. I just need to figure out how to package it so that it can help teachers the most. And again, teachers like it to be simple and clear so they're not confused. Look at this. This is not that other sheet was like 8 pages. It was kind of overwhelming. Here, it's just like, oh, picture, Google Classroom, click, go. YouTube, boom. Here's also Nadine and Eric. I put both of them in there. Here's the deal too. If you're kind with your resources, Nadine and Eric are some of the most kind, helpful people that I know in education on the internet. And so what am I going to do when I'm making this? I'm definitely going to push their stuff. People remember the people that are out there for themselves and the people that are out there to help people. And so I hope that I'm resonating that. Like, this list, I know both Nadine and Eric. I was in the Google Innovator thing with Nadine. So I met her through that. She's fantastic. I got the chance to, like, say, oh, this is a great person that's doing great things. I'm going to promote her every chance I get. Eric, super cool. Whenever all he did was say, sure, man, use my resource. And now I'm literally promoted him today. I will continue to promote him for as long as I can, and I'll talk about him. Yay Math. I've met this dude. He has a math YouTube channel. I could easily be jealous that he's got way more subs than me. But you know what? I connected with him. We talked on the phone about, like, education, entrepreneurship, YouTube for a while. Love this dude. Great guy, super kind and helpful. I would love to do more stuff with him. I'm going to promote him. As you're in the process of creating and doing, do not get in a silo where you're like, oh, I'm just going to create this and I need to push people to my stuff. Y'all don't look at their stuff. Like, Nadine and Eric have resources that if you like that, you don't need my resource. Guess what? Cool. If they helped you, that's my goal. There was an entrepreneur. There's a guy that said it this way. If you want to build the biggest building in town, there's 2 ways to build it. Either you can help build it and just make it as tall as you can and not worry about the other buildings growing up around you, or you can try to tear down every building around you and just be the one left standing. I highly recommend trying to build up and empower those around you. I've met Tyler DeWitt. I've met, let's see who else. I think there's other math guys. I've met Patrick JMT. These people I'm promoting. Mr. DeMayo, super great dude. My kids love his videos. I'm going to promote him every chance I get. Then these resources, these were things, some of them I'd already created, some of them added since. These are full trainings. I had already done this stuff and put it out there for nobody. And then I put it in this. Now, here's the deal. Even just putting it in this didn't get it out there. It didn't market it out to the world. But I'd been pushing it out on YouTube. I'd pushed it out on Twitter, and it never really popped off. Then I got on an amazing little app called TikTok. Shout out TikTok. If you're on TikTok, in the chat, let me know your TikTok handle. Okay, I would love to see your TikTok handle. Throw it in the chat. Here's the deal. TikTok has an algorithm where it helps you find communities. I'm sitting there and I was making just dumb videos about me like pretending to dunk a basketball, but really falling into a swimming pool. Okay, that was just doing that for fun because I thought that's what you're supposed to do on TikTok. I did not know there are these communities based on different interests. And there's an incredible Teachers of TikTok community. And so I get on there and I see a couple tutorial videos like, oh, cool. I'll promote this Google Teacher cheat sheet. I toss it on there and it got like, I don't know. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but I got like a couple, like 100 or 200,000 views on this resource, and people are clicking my link in my bio, and it's helping teachers for free. That's what essentially kickstarted. Like, I had years of creating resources where barely anybody paid attention except for people I'm like visiting in person. I'm like, hey, here's this resource. Here's this. Here's this. It just takes the right moment and the right community and the right algorithm a lot of times for it to pop off and get the attention of people to where you can help more and more people. Now, I'm throwing this out here, and all it did was repackage that other thing I just showed you. All it did was repackage my other one, organize it, and then give it to teachers to use. So when you're creating resources, make it as simple as possible, make it as organized as possible. Then think of how you can repackage that and add resources to people. Now, here's another way I repackage that same exact resource to add value to teachers. It is under my, where is it? It's slides intro help page. Okay. So I took those that essentially Google cheat sheet for teachers, or actually I think I took the one, I made a copy of that one and I adjusted some of the links and made it applicable for students. Boom. The first resource, building those videos, took 50 plus hours. Making the teacher cheat sheet took 3 hours, one Sunday afternoon. Took 3 or 4 hours. Making the student cheat sheet took like less than an hour. Making the parent one took like 30 minutes. So it's like, as you keep building off of your other resources, you can save a ton of time to where you can go in and make more versions of different resources. Catholic Bahamas School, what's up? It's great to see you guys. I think I get the chance to talk to you guys pretty soon. Thank you for the commitment to building and empower those around you. I really appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to chatting with your teachers, and I hope I can add them value. And I'm working with some of their teachers. They're an awesome community, or the people I'm emailing seem super incredible. So I took that original, those videos, which were just on YouTube. I'm like, oh, I'll just put them on YouTube. Then I package them on the resource level 1 checklist. Boom, that's a resource. Then I repackage that into the Google cheat sheet for teachers, students, parents. Then I was like, you know what else would be helpful? Is if that cheat sheet was even more accessible and you actually had that in like every presentation you do for your students, every assignment you give in Google Slides. So what I did was I repackaged it and put it as a slide in Google Slides. Take your resources. When you're building all these resources, think of how you're cross-promoting and doubling up, because what might be super helpful for one group a certain way could help another group another way. It's honestly, it's that whole Google mentality that is like, you know, if you want like, I'm doing a training on Google Slides and you're like, well, how do I make a copy of something? There's like 5 different ways to make a copy of a document in Google Docs. But whenever you go and find these different avenues where you can add these resources, okay to make a different version of what you've already got. You don't have to be like, well, I kind of did that already. No, repackage it and use it for somebody else and then apply it to their situation. So that's a thought process. As you're creating resources, think of how you can use those resources and build and not start from scratch every single time. Okay, a good example of that was, I told you people said they wanted a digital interactive notebook. So I went in and I created a digital interactive notebook. Okay, I've got a weekly version and I've got a full semester. Guess what? Once I made the weekly version, then I'm just selecting the week, copy and pasting, and I'm doing it 18 times. That's now a semester. And all I did was add in like a navigation bar. Okay. So you can think of how to duplicate your resources and make different options you can make different options on what people are getting, because some people might want a weekly one. Some people might want a full semester. It took me an extra 10 minutes to make that other version. So why not go ahead and do that? And why not go ahead and do that so that you can have multiple resources for different people and different avenues. Okay. So right here, hey, my dog joined us. That was the door. Sorry about that. So you go in, and the idea for this interactive notebook, I'm sitting here thinking, what is one? It's okay to put like something describing. So at the beginning of most of my resources, I've got like a short letter, like, hey, here's a resource. If you would, please subscribe to my stuff on Instagram or TikTok, where I do more tips to help teachers. So it's okay, because you're getting, especially I don't feel bad because I'm giving a free resource. It's okay to be like, hey, here's some more free areas I can add you value. And then down here, I have like an upgrade your resources. So it's like, here's all this free stuff where I can add you plenty of value. But then down here, if you really want to upgrade it, these are some other things you can do. You can buy my book. You can do summer PD, which you're in right now. What's up? You can do the honor roll, all that stuff. So it's okay to put that in there as an option. Now, if they don't want that, they're like, oh, but I got to give this to my students, blah, blah, blah. They can hit delete. Bam, it's deleted. No more slide. That wasn't hard. Okay, so like if people cry about it, guess what? Don't be mad about the free resource that I just gave you. So Chilio, it's Coolio, not Chilio. Coolio's pretty Chilio though, okay? Coolio was by far one of the most underrated rappers in the rap game. Am I right, guys? Am I wrong? Am I right? In the chat, who is your favorite musician from the 90s? Tell me in the chat. I would love to hear it, okay? So the idea with this notebook is that it's essentially an organization tool for teachers to kind of lay out the week for students and then assign it in classroom and make a copy for every single student. So as I'm creating this resource, that is my mindset. That is what I'm thinking as I'm going in and creating this resource. I'm thinking, how can I make this where a teacher can go in, edit a couple things or change a couple things or fill in a couple things, and then they can assign it for their students so that it's like the easiest way for them to do it. So a lot of my resources may be a little generic. So like the math stuff, like that's for math teachers. The rest of this stuff, I'm like, how can they apply this to multiple like subject areas or grade levels? Any grade level, I would say, I mean, even as early as kindergarten could use it, because you could give this to parents and show them how their week's going to be laid out. Then look, I made that resource earlier. Guess what? I'm going to put it in this too. Important links, Google Help videos, copy, paste, put it in here. Took me a few minutes. I've got that resource, which if you look at the the videos and took me hours to do. Now I've already got it. I'm repackaging it inside of another resource. So always think about how they can overlap. Then I made this little attendance map because we had a lot of people that were like, my students are working virtually. How can they do this? I'm thinking through, well, what would be an easy way for students to clock how they're working and when they're working and put it on there. So I put this in here. Guess what? If a teacher doesn't want it, you delete it. Now, here's the cool thing. If you're like, oh no, you deleted it. When you build these, especially in Google Slides, when you're building these resources and these templates and these master slides, actually, I think they call it Theme Builder now. When you're in Theme Builder and you're building all these slides, you're adding to your repertoire of it. So like this right here, if I click this drop down, it's going to have all of these templates from, like, a lot of these aren't in this. They're from different resources I've made that now overlap into this theme. Okay. They would go in, they could put the week number. They put the week at a glance. I wanted them to be able to say this for their students. And then they have it to where they can list out stuff. They can leave it blank for students to fill in. And also, whenever you're making these resources, think through like, okay, if I give this to a teacher and then a teacher assigns it to students, what is going to get lost in translation? And I made these boxes to where you can click them. You can click, like I've got like an invisible box over this. And then when you do something on the to-do list, you can click this and it fills in the box. I thought, you know what? There's a good chance this is not going to be translated to students from the teachers I'm giving this to. So what I did was I put instructions with a link to a video tutorial over here on the left explaining how they can fill in the checklist. So students now teachers don't have to explain it to their students. I'm bypassing that and I'm doing it to where they can just go in and be like, okay, I can read this and I know what I'm doing with this resource. And then I do Monday through Friday. And then I end the week, I tossed in a Cornell Notes and a blank notes page. Like I wasn't even planning on doing a Cornell Notes page. And I was like, you know what? let me look up what a template looks like for that, because I'd never used Cornell Notes in my life as a student or teacher. And so I went in and made that resource. This one took me, I mean, this honestly didn't take that long. I think I made this little theme in like 20 minutes. So now I've got that. I can add that to anything I want. It's in my repertoire. Big wins from the week. This is a way for the students to reflect. Now, I started with this. This was the first. This took a while, for real. I actually started with the semester one. It took a long time because I made like a navigation bar and all this stuff. Now, this took a while to make. However, then whenever I decided, you know what, I want to make another journal, guess what? I've already got the background templates. I've got the intro pages. I've got the help slides. I've got all that stuff. All I did was make a copy of that template. And then I went in and made, let's see, what's one that I made a copy of? Let's see, you could do the daily student reflection journal. I was like, that's a cool journal. What's a journal teachers could do at the beginning of any class to where they could go in and they could build a copy of this, okay? So we go in, hit make a copy. I made a copy of that other one. I rolled in, and then I went and made, I was able to make this journal just by adding different things into that. So I'm waiting on it to load up. Load up. Load up. While that's loading, in the chat. Oh, wow. Am I glitching? Are we better? Okay, I'm better. Sorry, it was loading up, so it was taking a hot minute. Now, did I have to make this slide again? No, because when I made a copy, that was already there. I think I adjusted a little bit, but not much. Boom, important links. Guess what? Already made that. Copy's in there. Made that. Copy in there. Navigation. I'd made it in the previous one for the full semester. Boom, it's in here as well. They can click and it jumps to whatever slide they want. Then I went in, made the page, and I went in and created this. And I was able to copy paste, put all this stuff in there, and I made a daily student reflection journal. Think through the process of what I've already created and how can I go in and use this resource as another like as a basis for another resource. Okay, so that's how it went from all that to this one to another one. And then this is kind of like this is my big one. So I was already making these like quote of the day bell ringers where people could just go grab a YouTube video, toss it in Google Classroom, and then just assign it for their students to create discussion and all this stuff. And I made like all these videos, took a ton of time and all this, whatever, who cares? Blah, 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 Tyler. So I made all these videos. And then I thought to myself, I've already got kind of a template for the Notebook. Great movie, by the way. Have anybody ever seen The Notebook? So I've got my template for my digital interactive notebook. I've got all these bell ringers. I bet I can make another resource. So I made a quote of the day template, like a notebook for a full semester where people could have students just go into this for their bell ringers every single day. Think through how you can adapt and reuse and do all of these resources that you're creating. Think through, how can I go in? How can I take what I've already done and spend time on? And how can I package that to help either students or teachers? So it's loading up. While it's loading up, what is the next resource you want to make, either for yourself or for other educators? What is the next resource you want to make? Okay, sweet. Now, if you'll notice right here, I took this one step further. In that last video, I was like, I put the instructions over here on the side. I've got that in here as well. But then I thought, I have a teacher that wants to use this, and then they have to re-explain my mindset for creating this. So I just went in and made a video that teachers can show students, telling them exactly how to use this notebook. So here's a YouTube video that they can just hand to their students on how to do this. Again, made the copy, didn't start from scratch, used the notebook, adjusted a little bit of my navigation bar right here. See, it's clicking, loading up. Then I made like a little completion checklist right here. Then what I did was I made a little template and I went in and imported the videos that I already had on YouTube. I already had this list on my bell ringer side of my website. Then I'm just really attaching them into a notebook. This took a few hours one Sunday afternoon. Actually, it took more than a few hours. It took a little while to do this. So I'm taking all these videos I spent a lot of time on. I've taken the notebook I spent a lot of time on, overlapping them and making another resource. It's quote of the day. So I've got a different video every day where students can go in and they can do this notebook. That's the idea behind some of this stuff. Think through, how can I reuse resources that I've already got? Okay, so for sake of time, I'm going to go through and I'm going to kind of rapid fire some of these things. So if you want to go back and find these, you can. They're at tarveracademy.com/resources. If you want to, hey, what's up? Saw somebody in the chat. How you doing? If you want the walkthroughs and stuff, have your school like reimburse you and you join the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. That's what I recommend. Okay. But it's up to you. Follow your heart. Okay. So real quick, if you want to go to tarveracademy.com/resources. We've already talked about those. Now I'm going to walk through these in case these can help you either as a starting point for what you're creating, or maybe they just help you in your class. Okay. Here's some lesson plans. I've got some basic ones, and then we're going to actually build this one, this high school lesson plan. We're building that at the end of these, like the last session after Nadine's done. I'm going to build this with you in Canva and then in Google Slides. Quote of the day, bell ringers. That's the bell ringer. And then here it is in the template built into the notebook, combination of the bell ringers and the notebook. You've got the movie. I wrote you every day for a year. In the chat, what is your favorite line from the notebook? I'd love to know. Then I made some team meeting agenda notes. That's to help you move as a team, like getting forward. Daily student reflection journal, so your students can reflect on the day, what they want to accomplish, what they're thankful for. I think that one's a super good resource. Getting to know you form. This is a Google form you can give your students either at open house or the first day of school, so you can get their parents' email addresses, their parents' names, phone numbers, and then learn a little bit about your students. Curriculum map, this is so you can plan out your year. It's in a Google Sheet. Classroom discipline form. This is how you can record discipline for your class. I actually created this while I was a principal, and all my teachers used it, and I was able to see it. And then I created something, if you're with me on the Autocrat training, how to generate an automated email from when somebody fills out a form. That's Autocrat, and I'm doing a training on that this summer. Join the honor roll if you want. Sorry, now I am pitching. Now I need, okay, I'll chill. I'm sorry. Stop pitching your honor roll. Okay, sorry. Student reported discipline. That's if you want the students to report their own discipline. That's an adaptation of something I used in my class via paper in a Google form. Positive student action form. That's where students can go in and you can, or not students go in, you go in and you record when students do stuff well in your class to praise them for positive actions. Daily student check-in. It's so students have a safe place to, one, check in for your class, whether they're virtual or in person, but also let you know if they're not feeling well that day, so you can kind of be aware without them having to say it in front of other students. Sometimes students feel more comfortable saying it in like a Google form or chat or anonymous location. Certified educator checklist. That's what we just went through. Google cheat sheet for teachers. It's at the top. Students, parents, we did that. It's at the top. Google student checklist. This is like a back to school checklist of things that you can walk through with your students so they know how to use. So like I've linked to different things, and it's just like step by step. Hey, walk through this. About our class Google slide. This is a back to school activity you can do. And here's the cool thing. This one I love. I don't do a lot of time, but when you click on it, it's something you can assign to your students, but also it's got little tutorials in the walkthrough. So if your students don't know how to do it, they can click the video, watch the video, and then go in and do the thing. And then you can get to learn your students and your class. This we talked about is the intro slides help page. This is a Google, this one, and this one are Google Forms that adapt based on how students are doing on a test or exam or review. So that's super helpful if you want the Google Forms to adapt and differentiate based on how students are doing. And I've got walkthroughs in there explaining how to set that up. This is a walkthrough form for administrators. This is in a course evaluation for you and your classes, so students can tell you how they feel about the class and what you can improve. That can be hard to read, but important. Summer PD notes. If you're in the summer PD, hopefully you're using this template to make notes and take notes and use these resources. This is a classroom resource hub. This is essentially where you can build out links that help your students know how to get to different things, or parents or whoever get to different things for your class and resources. Cornell Notes, that's a Cornell Notes template. This is a walkthrough if you're creating educational video. A lot of the research studies I'm looking at, these are the ways that they recommend you lay out an educational video so you can fill it out and then record a video for your students. Math problem of the day is bell ringers, but for math. These are Washington, D.C. I did like a little vlog where I'm walking around and I do fun facts about different Washington monuments, and including the Washington Monument. This email templates where you can automate, or you can have automatic templates for discipline or truancy or zeros on assignments. These are templates for that you can import into your Google or in your Gmail. This is how to create, it's a classroom app template to create a classroom app, which we did in our Canva tutorial. And then here is the resource spreadsheet. And then this is a series I did, kind of like Bill Nye, but a lot not as good. And it's a resource to help your students be successful in the classroom and in remote learning. So there we go. that's a quick run through. That's my session. I'm going to stop talking because, man, that's a lot of Tyler to listen to. And we're going to hear someone much more lovely and talented. We're going to listen to Nadine Gilkison, and she is fantastic. And I would really appreciate if you went in and found her on social media. You need to follow her because she gives a ton of resources for teachers. And so I highly recommend you go follow her, check her out, and get some of the resources from her. She's about to show you some stuff on how to create meaningful resources. And then after she's done, we're actually going to walk through creating that lesson plan, starting with Canva and rolling into Google Slides. So thank you guys for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed today's sessions. Hope you learned something. Hope you got something out of the very least, whether you're going to create resources for free or for sale. I hope that you got an idea of what that entails and some thoughts to make more resources even better for other educators. Thank you guys so much. Y'all be good, and I'll see you here in a little bit. Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Hey, it's Tyler here. I'm just going to give you a little break. So if you need to go do something, you need to go use the restroom, get a snack, get something to eat, whatever, you can go do that. I was going to chat with you about some stuff, give you some time to do that and check in, maybe say hi. If you want in the chat, let's do a little check-in. In the chat, how you feeling? Toss in your emoji of how you're feeling right now. Let's do a little emoji checkup, if you will. So while you're doing that, I do want to give, you know what? I spent a lot of time writing this book, and I genuinely think this book is going to help you in your classroom. It's gonna inspire you more than anything. It's a read with me, and one of the things that I feel like I've never been the smartest dude in the room. I've never been, the most talented, but I'll say this: I was always been pretty approachable. I think I've been approachable, and I think what this is, I've tried to be as relatable as possible. I'm talking about my experiences, things I've run into in the classroom, what I've learned as a teacher and as an administrator and as a student, what I learned. And so this is the Baller Teacher Playbook. If you're interested in checking this out, I recommend, of course I recommend, it's my book. It's not the best book on education, but I think it's good enough to help you in some way. It's got a lot of practical experience in it. I've got quotes. That's a do you boo-boo. I could have picked a better chapter. Here's one thing. I want to show you one thing that I did at the end of each chapter, because I know teachers. Okay, I put in practical application, I put in reflection, because we know reflection is important, even though we never have time to do it. But it's got spots for you to write that in, so this is something you can work on by yourself or with your team. But here's the part that I did, and this is legit just for teachers. I don't know if you can see that. I put in, at the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR. That's internet talk for too long, didn't read. So what that means is, let's say you've got a team meeting, okay? Because there's 18 chapters in here. That means you and your team, or you and your building, you can go through a chapter once a week. You meet on your planning period and spend 10 minutes talking about what you did, what you tried, what worked, what didn't work, stuff to help improve your class and improve your students. Every week you can do that. Have you ever done this? In the chat, be honest, you ready? Have you ever had a team meeting where you're supposed to read something and you're walking over to the meeting and you're like, oh no, I forgot to read the thing I'm supposed to read that we're gonna discuss for like 15 minutes. So you just try to chill and hopefully don't get called on or get called out for not reading it. At the end of each chapter, I have a section called TLDR where in 2 to 5 bullet points, I summarize the chapter. So you could be walking to the meeting, you could read these 3 or 4 bullet points and be able to have a conversation about the entire chapter. There's stories in here, there's practical experience, there's ways that I messed up, ways that I failed, and then ways that I feel like I succeeded, and I'm just talking through what I learned from both of those. And I would love for you to learn and grow with me. So if you want to check out that book, it's on Amazon. I'll have the link on the screen if you want to get it. Link is in my bio. I link links everywhere to it. So Baller Teacher Playbook. I think it can help you in your classroom. Okay, we're about to get started. Kick back into it. Hopefully you're ready to roll, ready to go. And let's jump back in. Let's jump back in like Michael Phelps, okay? Well, does that work? Does that work? I mean, he jumps into the pool. That's what I was going for. I need to know more like high diver. High divers would have been better. I'll tell you this, we're gonna stick the landing like Carrie Strug. Y'all remember her? Carrie Strug, remember the Olympics? Georgia Olympics? Atlanta Olympics? Remember that? It's okay. It's a very narrow reference. All right, let's get started. Let's kick it off. Let's jump back in. Get your notes out. Get your screens pulled up. Get your coffee ready. Get your ice water, your sweet tea. If you're from Arkansas like me, you know you like that sweet tea. And we're about to kick it off. Here we go. Let's get back in it. Let's get back in it. I'll see you guys.
Hi, everybody. It's Nadine Gilkison. If you don't know me, I'm the District Technology Integration Specialist at Franklin Township Schools, and I'm offering this PD in case anyone wants to know some tips about how to design digital content. Okay? I actually have down in the description, it actually has the information so that you guys can go ahead and click on the presentation that I'm going to be in just a moment. And I'm going to get started with going through how to do things. So a little bit of background about myself. This is going on my 6th year doing the position that I'm doing right now for technology integration. And so what I do is I actually am the sole person for my district. So I cover kindergarten through 12th grade. A little bit of background about our district. We are one-to-one and bring your own device in grades 6 through 12 at our secondary levels. In the elementary, we are what I like to call cart saturated with Chromebooks. And so when we are using the Chromebooks, you know, they have different ratios that they're using them in the classrooms. More info about me. I have presented at several conferences, the Indiana Google Summit, the ICE conference in Indiana. We also have the HEC conference. I am a Google certified educator. This year, I became a Google certified innovator with part of the cohort NYC 19. And my project actually focuses on dyslexia. So a future PD that I'm going to offer is going to be called Tech Abilities for Struggling Readers. So if you guys want to find the presentation, it's in the description of this. It's going to be down at the bottom. And it's going to link to a document that says tips to design content digitally. Also, if you want to share out who you are and where you're from, you're welcome to do that as well. I'm going to try to go through the PD and then I'll have some Q&A time towards the end. So if you guys have any questions about anything, then you can. One thing that I will tell you that's going to help today, if you're able to have an additional tab open on the device that you're watching this on, if you're able to, if you want to type in slides.new, then as I'm talking about some of the things today, you could actually play around with it. But if you don't want to, if you want to do that and save that to do it on your own time, that's fine as well. But I'm going to get ready to share my screen and we're going to get started. All righty. Okay, so you guys will be on this slide where it says tips to help you design content digitally. I've purposely added in a blank slide so that I can kind of demonstrate things as I'm doing the presentation today. So when I jump right in, I'm going to go ahead and hop to slide 3 and talk about it first. So people ask me all the time about different ways to add flair to slides. So if you want to do that, one of the benefits, if you have a smartphone, there's lots of apps where you can do all kinds of awesome cool things. Snapchat, if you want to do your filters when you're recording a video. But people always ask me all the time, like, how do I get that from my phone and then get it to Google Slides? So what the process that I use to do this is that I'll either record something in Snapchat or one of the other ones that you see mentioned here, which I'll get to those in a minute. And then I typically will I'll save it to my phone. I'll save the video to my phone. And then it gives you the option that you can share out that video clip to your email or to another platform. So I typically just email it to myself. And then when I email it to myself, now I can have access to that video clip and it's easier for me to insert it into Google Slides. And if you're not familiar, whenever you tap on insert, that's where you can get access to video. Okay. One of the other options that's listed on here is called And Then I Was Like. So this is a website that allows you to do your own animated GIFs. So I'm actually doing this entire live stream with a Chromebook that I purchased. And a lot of times people will say, well, if I'm on a Chromebook and I want to create an animated GIF, how can I do that? So the site, and then I was like, is one where you can do that. So it literally just taps into the webcam that's part of your Chromebook. And then it has you count down 3 seconds, and then you can see a sample right here that I was doing to demonstrate for our teachers. Another one that I like to use is called Emoji Me, and that is actually an app for the iPhone. And so it allows me to have these different animated GIFs of myself as an emoji. Again, the same process is that you're going to save it as a video file, and then you can email it to yourself, and then that's an easy way. You could even just directly save it to your Google Drive from your phone, and then you can find the file when you go to Insert and you go to Video. It's going to give you different options on here, and so Google Drive is one of them. So if you save the file to Google Drive, that's where you can find it. All right, same concept with GIFGab. I love GIFGab. Now, keep in mind, I am not saying that this is one that you're going to want to share with all of your students. It's definitely one that is for adults only. So when you're using GIFGab, that's one that's great. So you see like the cereal box. It has tons of really cool ones in here. It's made by the same company that does JibJab, but it's just strict animated GIFs. I want to go back to that option of Emoji Me, and keep in mind, if you have an Apple product, then you can do the option of being able to add your Memoji. So you can go and create a video with your Memoji head, and then you can insert that as an option as well. So just think about different ways that you can blend the two. So I'm going to stop sharing for a moment, and I'm going to take a moment and see if we have any questions so far. This was not a question, but thanks so much. Awesome that you're sharing with everyone all the templates and everything. That's great. So all of these tips that I'm showing today are a lot of the ways that I'm making my templates. And again, there's a lot of people that ask me, how do you do this? Or how do you do that? So that's really what this session is all about. All right. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen, and I'm going to move on to the next topic here. So the next one that's going to be an option is going to be sites to use for images. Let's talk about that for a moment. So we've got some different options on here, and I'm going to start by talking about Unsplash is actually one of my favorites, and I actually have that listed on a different one, but I'm going to demo it for you. So it's called a Google add-on, and so what that will do is it will allow you to add some really cool options onto your slide. So when you go to add-ons, if you don't have it already, then you're going to go to the word Get Add-ons. I already have it, so it's listed as Unsplash Images. So when I tap on Unsplash Images, I'm going to select Insert an Unsplash Photo, and then it's going to pop up. So I would say probably 99% of the time, whenever I'm starting with a background, I'm using Unsplash Photos. So as a demonstration, I'm going to go here to slide 2. And let's say that I was looking for something that had a desk on the background of it. So what I love about Unsplash, if you're not using it, I can't stress enough that you need to use Unsplash, is because it's high resolution photographs that you can use in your presentations freely. They even say that you can use it commercially if you want to do that as well. So I'm going to go out here and I'm going to pick one. Typically, whenever I'm trying to pick my backgrounds with this, I do purposely try to pick something that may have some open white space on the side. And it looks like that image is giving me some issues. So I'm going to pick a different one than that one. Since that one's giving me problems, let me try this one and see if it comes up any faster. And if not, oh, there we go. So with this one, and I'm not sure why, but they always default with the little tiny gray line. So I typically go in here to the color border and then I select transparent. So now I've got this cool looking background on here, but I want to layer in text. Now you notice I said I try to pick something that has that white space, so then it's kind of built in where I can layer in a text box. But what if it doesn't have that? If it's something that's kind of busy and I want to go ahead and add a text box, when I'm done showing you some of these different image sites, we'll talk next about some different ways for you to be able to layer that in. But I definitely, when I talk about images, Unsplash is my go-to. I even get people that think that I actually take the photographs, which I'm flattered, but I immediately say, no. You know, I'm always crediting that comes from Unsplash. All right. So let's talk about some of the other sites that you can use for this as well. Flat Icon would be the second most popular add-on that I use. Now it changed the name. If you were using it before, it used to say buy Flat Icon on here, and now it doesn't say that. So if you're looking for it, it says Icons for Slides and Docs. That is now the name of the add-on for Flat Icon. So I'm going to hit start on mine. And when it pops up, this is where you get some really awesome icons that pop up here. So I'm going to select one that looks like a house. So I've got on here that I can select the different size. Now, pixels are something that you want to pay attention to whenever you're picking out an image. The smaller the pixels, the less quality. In other words, it's going to be more pixelated. So I automatically jump to the 512. And when I hit insert, then it's actually going to pop up on my screen right here. So I'm going to actually move this guy over to my test one. So I'm going to hit copy and I'm going to go out over to this slide and paste him in. Now I want to demonstrate a couple of things with this. Now, obviously I don't need it this big, but again, I did it the larger size so that it's not pixelated. Now, if I hold down Control Alt while the image is selected and I tap on the letter J, it's going to make it smaller. If I hold down Control, Alt, and K, it's going to make the image bigger. I use that trick all the time instead of me trying to go diagonal and make those selections. So I get it to the size that I want it. I have it placed on the slide, but there's one other little feature that I always like to add. So I come here to Format Options, and when I tap on it, I always tap Drop Shadow. Now, you might think that it didn't really do much, but what it does is it adds just a tiny little shadow that's dropped underneath it. And it's something that designers like to see because it makes an image pop out just a teeny bit more. So I wanted to make sure that I pointed that out. So Flat Icon, Unsplash, those are my first two big go-tos. Now, Joy Pixels is another one. So for this one, it used to be called, oh my gosh, now Emoji One. That's what it used to be called. So now it's called Joy Pixels. And when you tap on this, it's going to launch out to it. And this one is where I get the different emojis. Now, keep in mind, there's different versions. They have a free version that you can use their emojis, and they also have a paid. And of course, the free version is only going to let you have access to it for a certain pixel ratio. It's not the best, but hey, it's free, and I'm all about free. So if you tap on emojis, then this is where you can take a look at the different options that you have. So on here, they've got, different items that are on here that you can choose, your icons, and so on. It's not an add-on. I can tell you that, that Joy Pixels is not an add-on. Instead, it is where you are going to have to actually go out to the site, and I typically download that one, and then I'm inserting it into my slides. And of course, as always, to be copyright friendly, you need to attribute, where it is that you're getting that from. Bitmoji is the next one that is one of my most popular ones that I use. Now, this one is a Chrome extension. Sometimes I get teachers where they get confused between an extension and an add-on. So an add-on is located directly inside of Google Slides. That's when in each one of these, Google Docs, Google Slides, Sheets, Forms, any of those. When it says add-ons, the best way I can describe an add-on is that it's an additional program that somebody outside of Google has created that other people can use, okay? An extension is something that works with the Chrome browser. So as long as you're running Chrome, then you can add an extension. So Bitmoji actually has a Chrome extension, and I use it all the time. And so literally, whenever you link your Bitmoji account, I can literally do a 2-finger touch on a Chromebook and do copy image, and then I can come back to my test slide here, and I can do Control V, and then it's going to insert it onto the slide. Now, again, anytime that I add those, I also like to do the drop shadow. So now when I added the drop shadow, you can probably see around this heart that it's got a little bit of an accent there. And again, if I want to make it smaller or bigger, I can. One of the things that I'll talk about today is when you're designing slides, I typically, and I'll say honestly, my mom was an artist, and before she passed away, she was actually out doing presentations on painting and a lot of things with art. So I know that's where I've developed this passion. I just consider myself that I love to do digital graphic design just as kind of like a side hobby. So the art elements out of that I always like to pull in is when you think like an artist, you're going to have a focal point on your slide. So I always ask teachers, what is it that you want somebody to notice first when they take a look at your slide? So for instance, I'm going to go back to this title slide, and ironically enough, I picked the exact same image that I have on my title. But you're going to notice I've got a Bitmoji and I've got a speech bubble in here. But I'm hoping that your eye draws to the wording that you're seeing on here first. But if it happens to be that it's the Bitmoji, that's okay. But it should be that you don't have so much information on a slide that somebody can't tell where to look first. That is what I call that it's just too busy. Okay. So I'm going to go back to these sites for images. And Pixabay has been around for a long time. It's definitely one that you can use. The one beef I guess I have with Pixabay is that the images just aren't that great. So that's why I tend to use Unsplash and use Flat Icon and use emojis. I've found that if I'm using icons more, then it makes the slide more simple and it allows me to focus on what it is that I want. But everybody loves animated GIFs, okay? People want to be able to add those things too. If you haven't added the Giphy Chrome extension, again, that's a Chrome extension, so it's going to be living up at the top here. You can add that, and the Giphy Chrome extension will allow you to insert GIFs directly into your slides. All right? FreePic is a site that I stumbled across when I was looking for vector graphics, okay? And so FreePic, and I'll actually pull it up here, FreePic is another site that it has free and premium, so it has a mixture of both. But I get everything that I use out of it, I always use the free, and they have a ton of free that are on here. So you might be asking yourself, what's the difference between a vector graphic and like a PNG and so on? So if you need to know the difference, I'm actually going to stop my screen share here for a minute. If you need to know the difference between these, I'll explain that to you. So a PNG means that the background is going to be transparent. All right, you might see it where it has a checkerboard behind it. The worst thing ever is when you're putting an image on and it's got that solid white background, and that's kind of like my pet peeve. I always want to make sure that it doesn't have the white background. So one of the things I do is when I'm searching for images, I make sure that I'm looking for a PNG image. If I want to make my own image, then I can make one in Google Drawings. And when I make it in Google Drawings, I can actually save it as a PNG. If you've ever noticed inside of Google Drawings, it automatically has that checkered background. So if I want to actually take the drawing tools and make my own drawing, I could then save that and it would already have the clear background. So that's kind of the cool part about that. A vector. So a vector actually means that when you save it as an SVG file or a vector file, that no matter how big that you stretch it, it's not going to get pixelated. That's the best way to describe it. Typically, if you're trying to make a t-shirt, a banner, a large poster, something like that, even if you're trying to do it through another company, they'll ask you if you have a vector file or an SVG file. And again, what that means is that you have a file that isn't going to get pixelated. So people will say all the time, well, I made this in Google Slides or I made it in another platform, but they need it as an SVG file. So make it in Google Drawings, and then you can download it as a vector file, if that makes sense. And on the on here, let me go back to, oh, hold on a second. I'm going to go back to the presentation here. I'll make it a little bigger for you guys to be able to see it. So on here, I have actually pictures of drawings that I've actually done. So that's what I was talking about over here. Better yet, make your own in Google Drawings. So on here is actually, I had my daughter, Mackenzie, I said, why don't you draw a picture of me? So she drew this picture of me. And then I went into Google Drawings and I actually outlined the different pieces of that image. And then I was basically able to like cartoon the actual just paper pencil drawing that she did. I'll offer a whole nother session that's on nothing but Google Drawings. Today, I just wanted to kind of give you a little bit of information about it in case you're curious about it. So I'll move on to the virtual letterboard. Let's move on to that one. If you haven't used this site, it's really cool. Literally, if you tap on this image, when you tap on it, it just takes you out to a site that says virtual letterboard. I love it, and I love that it's free. So I can literally come over here and type in virtual PD with Nadine G. And then with that, it'll just pop up here. Then I've got some different customized options. Notice I can change the spacing of it if I want it really close together or not. I can change the size of it. Ooh, that's definitely way too big. But I can make it smaller, bigger. I tend to keep it at the 3/4. You can also change the background of it and what it looks like, which I think is pretty cool as well. There's also different sizes. There's different types of boards. So if you need to type a lot, you could actually have that in there. This kind of reminds me of like a diner menu, but I know that they've become more popular. Then literally when you're done, you just hit save image. And then, and again, I'm on a Chromebook. So if I hit save image, if I just simply hit copy to clipboard, I can come back over here to my test slide and I can paste it into here. And that's where you're going to see it appear. Now, obviously I chose a really small one, so it's not gonna look the best, but hopefully you guys get the idea. I know I've seen several teachers that have used this concept and they really like it a lot. So that's that one. I really already covered the Unsplash add-on when I started off the PD today because it's always my number one. I do want to go ahead to where it says transparent overlays. So we're going to talk about that next. So the easiest way for me to demonstrate that is for me to come back to this slide. And I'm actually going to be clicking on the shape icon. So where it says shapes, I'm going to select the one that is a rectangle. And I'm going to hold down and I'm going to drag. When I let go, it's going to just make that rectangle. Now, typically when I like to do this overlay, I like to make sure that I keep it a gray shape or a gray color. If I choose a different color, it just doesn't look as well. So now that I've gone into here, the next thing I usually do is I am going to tap on the border and I'm going to make it transparent. Then I'm going to tap on the paint can. And again, all this has to happen while it's selected. If it's not selected, then it's not going to work. So then I'm going to come down here to the word custom. When I select custom, I notice that there's a bar down here that says transparency, and I can go as transparent as what I want. So I usually like to go about halfway. And now you guys can still see that image of the keyboard. And even when I click off of it, you can see that faint outline in there. So I'm actually going to select a darker Unsplash background so that way you guys can see the effect even a little better. And I know I've got a beach scene in here, so I'll actually just go ahead and pick, I think this is a lake. So I'm going to go ahead and pick this one. So that way you guys can see my text box just a little bit easier. I'll actually stop the screen share while that's loading, and I'll take a look and see if you guys have any questions, feel free to go ahead and pop your questions in now, and I can go ahead and kind of answer as we go. That way you guys aren't having to wait on me constantly until the end of this. So again, feel free to just pop it in the chat, and then if it pops up, I can answer any questions that you have. So far, we must be good because I don't see any, which is nice. It looks like my image is not wanting to load. It's being a little finicky, so I'm going to pick a different one that I can get on here easier. So bear with me for just a moment. Let me try this one and see if it pops up for me. All right. Okie dokie. So I'm going to go back to sharing my screen again. And then I pulled up a different background that's going to work better. All right. So on this one, I have this image. And I'm actually going to teach you another tip or trick that I use. So notice how this automatically went to the front. If you want to know a shortcut of how to immediately put it to the back, I take 2 fingers and I'm going to hold down Control and Shift while the image is selected. And now with my other hand, I'm going to select the down arrow. So now when I did that, it just put it to the very back. Now, when I want to get rid of this other background, I'm just going to tap backspace and now it's here. So now you probably can notice how it's a lot easier for you to see that text box compared to a dark background. Now, when you want to type on it, I just put something simple in there. If you didn't know this trick, maybe you do. If I double tap, then it will highlight one word. If I triple tap, it will actually highlight all of the text that I've added. So that way I'm not having to try to like drag my finger if I'm not using a mouse and I'm trying to highlight everything. These are tips that I actually teach students when I come into classrooms and I do lessons, but adults like to hear these tips too. So when I come into the font, my new favorite right now is Lato, L-A-T-O. And I tend to like to make it light. So it takes it a moment here And then I obviously want to make it pretty big so that people can see it really well. And so fonts are a whole nother discussion about this. Number one, people will say to me, oh, that's one thing that frustrates me about Google is that I don't like all of the preloaded fonts. Well, don't forget that you can always go down here and you can select more fonts, and they have a bunch more that you can load. If you are in Google Docs, a extension that I use all the time is Extensis Fonts, and that is EXTENSIS, Extensis Fonts. Now, I wish they had it for Google Slides, but I will tell you that I have come up with a hack that if I'm typing something in Google Slides with a particular font that I got from there and I copy and I paste it into Google Slides, it works. So then all of a sudden now I have that font in Google Slides. So I just wanted to make sure that you guys knew about that option. Okay. But as always, like when I'm telling students, when you're deciding on a font that you want to use, make sure that it's something that's easy to read. If you're picking something that is a scripty font, different things like that, then it does make it very hard. I've been trying to as well, because I've been reading different posts about graphic design. I'm trying to limit the number of fonts that are used in a presentation. So for instance, I use that Lato font for the top here, and notice that fonts have different versions. Like if it says light, normal, and so on, you can have the same font, but it can look differently for you. There's been a lot of research that says that if you have more than 2 different kinds of font on a presentation, that it's too distracting for the person that's taking a look at it. So make sure that you keep that in mind when you are designing. Okay. And I want to say that there is, I've searched this before, different font pairings here. Here we go, fontpair.co. So this site is really cool. So Font Pair is going to tell you, when I just told you, hey, there's 2 font pairings that you want to put together. If you're not sure which ones look good together, then just scroll through this, and I'll add it on our chat so that way you guys can find it if you're not watching it live. So take a look at the different options that they're giving here, because those are really good. Okay. So Font Pair. Alrighty. So now we've done a transparent overlay. We have done some text. Sometimes if I want it to stand out even more, I will highlight it. And then after I highlight it, then I'll add a drop shadow to the text as well. But sometimes I think it looks better if the text doesn't have it. Like sometimes it looks cool, sometimes not. So kind of use your best judgment with that. Okay. All right. I'm going to skip and actually come down to slide 9, which also talks about lettering, since we're kind of talking about that right now. If you're still wanting to find better lettering, then I always tell people about this site, Flaming Text. I know the name of it sounds really wacko, but if you go to Flaming Text, then that way, it's easier for you guys to be able to find some fonts that you want. So there's a bunch. There's no way I can highlight all of the ones that are on here, but let's say that I wanted to pick the one. I'll go with the first one. If I wanted to pick this one, then I'm going to go to Edit Logo. And then I can choose the text, logo, shadow, background. And then once I get to the word image and I get to done, then I have the option that I can right click it and I can download it. So that way I have that as an option. So see right here, it says free for personal and academic use. If you're going to use it commercially, that's when you need to buy it. So as long as you're just using this for educational purposes, you are perfectly fine with using flaming text as an option. Now, obviously, again, that's another one that I would recommend for adults to use to ramp up what they're doing. I know I had to actually ask our IT to unblock it because when you hear the name, obviously you're thinking awful things. So I just wanted you to know that. All right. So I'm going to stop the share. I wanted to take a look at the chat and see if anybody has any other questions. Okay. So I do have some questions. So Carrie asked, hi, Carrie. In the description of the YouTube, what you're watching right now, down in the description is a link to the Google Slides that I'm going through. And Brittany, hello. The same question as Carrie. You want to define the slides that I'm using, and it's in the description of this video. Will take you to a link to this presentation. Okay? So that way you can find it. And Judith, you're so sweet. Thanks so much. Aw, that's nice. That made my day. So now that I've taken a look at that, and again, feel free to pop up any questions and I'll come back over and look at the chat again in a few minutes. And also, Carrie, since you're in here, to get your PGP points if you're with our district, I also added the link to get the PGP points in the description as well. So Diane, you're saying that you don't see the flaming text page. I guess what I wanted to ask first, Diane, is if you're in the presentation that I'm presenting from, and it's the one that's the tips to design content digitally. And again, the link is down in the description. And then I'm trying to call out the slide number that I'm on so that way you'll know. I'm going to go back to sharing my screen and then let me know if you're still having issues. Okay. All right. So I'm going to hop back in here. So if you're in the presentation, I'm actually on slide 9. So that's where I'm at for the flaming text lettering. All right. So another item that I want to talk about is how you can add audio to your slides. That has been a huge game changer for me, for people being able to add audio to slides. So I wanted to kind of go over my process because yes, it's there, but it's not intuitive. It's not the easiest to navigate. First of all, you have to have an outside source. Google doesn't have it where you just hit audio and then you record your voice and it magically appears. That's not there yet. What they want you to do is you need to go to an outside source. The one that I prefer to use is called Online Voice Recorder. So I can't remember if I linked it in here or not. It looks like I did not. So I'll go ahead and I'll type it in on Google. So as soon as I type it in, Online Voice Recorder is going to pop up. And this is literally what it looks like. It's very easy. And then it's going to say to tap the button to start recording. So I'm recording my voice right now as a test. When I'm done, I'm going to hit stop. Then I have this little sound file here. The cool part is that it does, and remember, this is free. It's not like iMovie or something. I can actually come in here and I can crop out like the dead space. It doesn't get all fancy where I can like come here and splice it. It just lets me cut off things that I may have at the end. So when I tap save, it just downloaded it to my Chromebook. Okay. So that's the first phase of that. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm actually going to go out to my Google Drive. So the next tip that I'm going to give you is something that I would recommend that you do inside of your Google Drive anytime that you're wanting to record audio. And this is kind of a one and done deal. Like you shouldn't have to go in and add a bunch of other things. So of course, since I'm live, it's being a little persnickety with me. What you're going to do is you're going to tap on the word new and you're going to create a new folder. I've already done this step. So while mine's loading, just so you know that new folder when it's created, you are actually going to name that folder #audio. That's the name I used for mine. Now, I'm not saying that to be trendy, but if you notice, anything that I have named that has the hashtag in front of it, it defaults it to the top of my Google Drive. So it makes it a lot easier for me to be able to find that file. So what you're going to do once you make that file folder, and the cool part about this, once I tell you this option, is it's a one and done. You make the folder, but the most important part is the sharing settings. And so right here, I want to go into my sharing settings. And when you guys go into it, it's going to say private, only for you. You're the only person that can take a look at it. So what you're going to need to do is click on advanced. And again, it'll say private, only you. So we're going to hit change. And this is where you get different options. Now, I told my teachers, sorry, I'm losing my voice. I told my teachers that if they're just wanting to share something for their own students to hear, then you could do on anyone at Franklin Township with a link. And don't worry, you're not giving them really a link to your folder. You're giving them access to be able to hear the recording that you just made. Now, I do a lot of presentations, and I'm doing that out in conferences, so I automatically change mine to anyone with a link. Now, I did tell our teachers, if you want to make an audio file, and it's not just your students that you want to hear it, you want the parents to be able to hear it, then they need to go on anyone with a link. And the reason why is because if you make it only within your domain, but you share something out to parents, you're going to get inundated. And I mean inundated with people saying, request access, request access. It's all because of your sharing settings. Now, the benefit of setting up your folder first means that every time that I add a new recording, which you can tell I've got a boatload in here, every time that I add a recording, like I'm getting ready to do, because I'll do upload file, and I'm going to go to recent here. And when I go into it, it says online voice recorder. A tip for you, I would name your recording just so that you're not seeing a million that say online voice recorder. So then when I tap it, I'm going to hit open. And now it's going to be adding it to here. So once it adds it onto my files, I know it did the right settings, because if I open it, so I don't need to hear myself. If I come over here, if I want to double check it, I can hit more actions and the share button. And I just wanted to show you that on this, because I dropped it into that folder, any documents inside of that folder, so any of my recordings, automatically change to that setting. So it just saves me a boatload of time. Yes, I have to set it up initially, but now I'm good to go. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go back to my slides here, and I'm actually going to add audio to it. So now I'm prepared to go to insert audio. And when I do that, then it always will default to Google Drive. So this is the most recent one that I did, and it will always pop up as my most recent. If not, you can tap the word recent. I'm going to double click it, and it says creating the audio file. And now you're going to notice this little icon over here that is my audio. And I always use that same tip that I shared earlier. I go Control Alt, and I'm going to use the letter K and tap on it, and it's going to keep making it bigger. And I can test it. So I'm recording my voice. So now you hear it. Now, this was something pretty cool that I learned that I started telling teachers. If I keep that icon selected and I do a 2-finger touch, I can actually replace the image so it doesn't look like a speaker. So I had teachers saying, oh my gosh, I could make it my Bitmoji, and my Bitmoji starts talking. Yes, you can totally do that. That's definitely an option that you can do. So I'm going to take that sample off of there. And I'm going to jump down to slide 12 because I want to make sure, if you guys may already be familiar with her work, but Slides Mania is amazing. I'm showing you today how you can make your own templates in Google Slides or other presentations. But if you want, and if you're like, okay, I need something to get me started, you can always tap on here and it will take you to Slide Mania. I love this lady's work. What's awesome to me is that she's not an educator. She's actually a lady, I think she said she's like an accountant or something, but she just does this as a hobby. And so she makes all of these different presentations. And notice she even has by EDU for EDU. So she's got all kinds of different templates that you guys can use, all completely for free. She's got an education tab. I know those of you that were looking for different templates to do e-learning, she has all kinds of templates that are already made for you. So I want to make sure that you definitely know about her site. Okay. A couple other items that I'll mention in here because I know I'm getting to the end of this. And if you enjoyed this session, I'm going to have some other sessions today, but then next week I'll have a whole new selection, and I'll have some more advanced items with design if you're interested in any of that. My next session is going to be about HyperDocs. If you're not familiar with them, you can stick around, hop on the next live session and learn more about them. If you just want to explore, I actually have a link here that will take you out to about, gosh, I have over 50 now of HyperDocs that I've created. Speaking of templates, I have all kinds of templates that we've designed for our district. If you want to tap on this template, this one takes you through, it has directions to kind of help you if you're wanting a template to get you started. Our district has done like the divide and conquer method, and I've got a link to a bunch more templates that are on here: related arts, writing, math, guided reading. Just tap on this link and it'll take you to a Google document that has all kinds of options that are on there.
What up? Welcome back. Hey, Tyler here. How are you doing? How you feeling? In the chat, let's do emoji check. And how are you feeling right now? Have you learned? Oh, no. To this point, what is something that you are going to try in your classroom or implement that you might not have wanted to, an hour or two ago? What is something you're wanting to implement in your classroom? Put that in the chat right now. I'd love to see it. I know the other people in the chat would love to see it. I know it'd be some great input. So throw that in the chat and then you can also copy paste and put in your notes just so you don't forget. Make sure everything you're doing, you're keeping notes of. Keep links to it, all of it, because I want you guys to be able to access and actually make your classroom better. I've sat through enough PDs in my life, professional development in my life, that I don't remember one thing from. I pray that you walk through this. I am hoping that you get something out of this training that you can take and use, once a day, once a week, once a year, once a decade, something that you use and implement, whether it's a mindset or a skill set or just any type of framework to build your classroom and make things better. Okay? Speaking of making things better, making ourselves better, I do want to give you, some thoughts on something that I offer, a community that we have at Tarver Academy that I think could add you a ton of value. It could help you get better all year. Because right now we're getting better with PD, with professional development. Hopefully you're getting better right now. This summer you're gonna hopefully glean some information, some knowledge, some experience, and you're gonna get a little bit better. I want us to get better all year. I want us to get better all throughout the year. And here's the thing with teachers. We do not have time to go sit through a 6-hour professional development once a week. So what I did was I created a community called Tarver Academy. And it was based on teachers telling me they wanted resources. They wanted a continuation of these trainings, of templates, of resources. They wanted to be handed to them, because if you go out and search for it, you're gonna find random stuff. They wanted stuff that could be applied to their classroom, that they can sit there, bite-sized professional development for busy teachers. That's Tarver Academy on a roll. And I would love for you to join if you want to. If you don't have to, don't pay for it. It's not very expensive at all, but I don't want you to have to pay for it. I would rather you use your district's professional development money. So if you want, have them go in, order that for you. Hey, here's the deal. Okay, let me be real with you. So you are signed up for the premium summer PD. Okay, either you signed up for it yourself, your principal, your administrator signed you up for it, or your district or your co-op. There were some amazing co-ops, districts that jumped in and realized that this could add value and flexibility because they're offering 3 different sessions throughout the summer. You have flexibility to watch from home, or maybe you're watching with a group, maybe you're watching in your classroom, wherever you're watching from. They wanted you to add that value, and I wanted to give you a huge discount on the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. This is just for this summer, and it's just for the people that are on the premium watches, okay? And so the premium watches, the premium PD, okay? And so if you're watching this, you're here, you're on it, okay? So what you can do is you can sign up at tarveracademy.com/honor roll, and I want you to use this promo code. When you sign up, use this promo code. It's gonna cut in half. And it's one time for the full year, and it's gonna cut in half. Remember, use your district money if you can. So just write the promo code down or put it in there and then get reimbursed, whatever you need to do. The promo code is premium because you've signed up for the premium summer PD. And so I want to give you half off. So what that is essentially you or your district or your co-op or your building paid for the summer PD. And so what it is, you get half off for these honor roll resources that come to you every week for the entire year. They essentially, it paid for more than, it paid for half of this just because they signed you up for it or you signed up for it. So it's actually a better deal than if you just like straight up bought it. But you'll get access to these trainings anytime you want throughout the entire year, plus anything new. I'm gonna send you something every single week to help make you better in your classroom, because when you get better, your students get better. In the email every week, you're gonna get either a template, a resource, you're gonna get a short PD video, professional development, a training to show you how to do something you might not know how to do, or reinforce something you're maybe already trying. You're gonna get something that makes you better every week, plus some quick tips, links to some other things, and also you can ask me questions. I have a mailbag where you get to ask questions, and that's the list I'm gonna pick from first. I wanna help you guys. If I don't know how to do it, I'll do the research for you. I'll build, you're like, oh, I really wish I had a digital interactive notebook. Guess what I'll do? I'll go in and I'll build digital interactive notebooks, and I'll give you the template. You don't have to pay teachers. You don't have to go in and throw the money at anything. I wanna just hand it to you, and I wanna do trainings for you to help you. So if you wanna join that community, I think it's super helpful, and it's essentially where I become the tech facilitator for you. It's Netflix for teacher resources, and I would love for you to join and jump on that. So if you want, go there. It's tarveracademy.com/honor roll, and you can sign up for that. And I think it's just going to be a huge. It's going to be a huge help to teachers throughout the year who have a lot going on and not a lot of time, extra time to go out and do it. It's like as teachers, they always give you more stuff to do, but they don't give you like, oh, here's like an extra 3 hours a day to go out and do whatever it is you're going to do. So if you want to sign up for that, you can. I hope you've used this time also to use the restroom. So if you're just getting back using the restroom, guess what? We've just been talking about Tarver Academy Honor Roll. No big deal. But I want to give you guys time to go do that and get a snack if you need it. Whatever you need to do, we're about to kick back into it. We're about to jump back in it. We're going to fall back into the gap, fall into the gap. Man, do y'all remember that? That was a good campaign. That was memorable. Wasn't it? Memorable? Yeah, sure. Okay, so we're about to get started. We'll get started here very soon, and we're gonna jump back in. We're gonna keep learning. All right, let's do it. Let's go. We're still doing this. In the chat, here we go. In the chat, I want you to tell me the name. Okay, don't say that. I was gonna say, tell me the name of, you know what? You can do that. Tell me the name of a teacher who made an impact on you and what they did. Why did they have an impact on you? In the chat, what name of a teacher or an educator that had an impact on you and what they did to have an impact. It was either the way they treated you, the way they ran their class, or the way they inspired you, or just the way they had structure maybe. They were reliable, they were consistent. I would love to hear in the chat, name of a teacher that motivated you as a student or as another teacher and what they did. So let's throw that in the chat, and we're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it. We're about to get started. We're gonna jump back into it like a pogo stick. See that? See what I did there? Nope. Okay, all right, let's get going. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Tyler here, and I'm so excited. We are about to learn how to create some solid lesson plans and then how to import that into Google Slides so that we can update it and keep it rolling and modify it and make it a living, breathing document that can be shared, collaborated, or you can just use to make yourself better every year. Do not make your lesson plans absolute trash that are just a waste of your time and a waste of your principal's time. Let's make our lesson plans to where they are helpful and that they make our life easier and organized. And even if you want, clear communication with your students, the parents of your students, and your fellow teachers and your administrators. Like, everybody can be on the same page without having to send them emails. Like, I'll give you the link once, go to the Google slide, you can give updates, thoughts, comments, or just know and stay in the loop. So, in the loop, Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and start here. Canva has a lot of really fantastic, let me give you the link. If you don't have the link, I'm going to toss it in there. Check out this. I'm going around my camera. Sorry. Duck around my camera. There we go. So I'm going to toss the link on the screen. It is bit.ly/Tarver Canva. Okay. They have free accounts. They have education, which is like the premium version, and it's free for educators if you prove that you are an educator. And then they have the premium accounts. All of them are fantastic. Okay. So here we go. So go to that link, sign up for an account if you haven't already, and you can follow along. I would love if you did follow along. I think that would be fantastic. If not, that's totally cool. So let's do. My goal is I'm going to make a generic lesson plan. You can even get more specific and detailed, like put your name in it, put a photo of yourself. You can do whatever you want in the video. So let's do lesson plan. Here we go. We're going to go. Look at that. Boom. Canva's got a ton of templates already made that you can edit and adapt and make what you want. Okay. We want to go with a regular piece of paper. Now, you could print these off. My thoughts are it's going to be more helpful if you can make it to where you can click the links. Paper, like here we go. Check this. Paper, it's hard to click the links on paper. Okay. I love paper. You just saw me. I have a notebook I use every day. But let's see how we want to split this up. I want this. Ooh, this one's not bad. We're going to look around at some templates and see which one we like the most. Let's see. I've got it right now in 1, 2, which we can adjust the categories. Let's see. This one doesn't look bad. This one's pretty clean. Let's do this one. This one's not bad. And I can adjust my backgrounds. Okay. So when I click on it, what it does is it makes a copy of that for me in Canva. And now I'm going to be able to go and edit my version of this. So good. So great, right? So good. So great. Here we go. Okay. So I'm going to call it, well, it's not going to put a date on it. I'll just put lesson plan right here. And then I would put Mr. Tarver's class, but I want this to be able to be used by anybody. You know what? There we go. Yeah, let's do this. So what we'll do is we'll have the class period on there. I think that can stay. I think that's pretty solid. Let's change the background, make it look like stuff that I do. I have kind of a look and feel. So we can go to my folders and we'll go to got some baller stuff for some baller teachers. Baller teacher playbook, what's up? Let's do this. How cool would this be? Okay. I'm tossing that on there. Definitely going to toss my logo, my certified baller teacher on there. I'll give it to you guys. Okay. So here we go. Let's do this hardwood background. I'm going to just drag it over and I'm going to drop it. There we go. Oh, there we go. Now I need to change this color, make it a little bit darker. There we go. There we go. And now I'm going to add, what do you think? Should we add this? That one's pretty cool. Let's do both. Why not? You know what? It's our lesson plan. We can do whatever we want. So let's go take this. Let's put it right here. And then we're going to move lesson plan here. All I'm doing is clicking and dragging. This is super user-friendly. Okay. And then if I want to add this in, I've already imported these in. So I can just click and it adds it in. I'm going to say you're a certified baller teacher because you are. How's that? There we go. Certified baller teachers. It's my template. I guess I can do whatever I want. Okay. Is that too much? It feels like too much. I'm just going to leave that. We'll leave that on there. And we'll do this. Lesson plan. There we go. And it gives you some room to play with it. If you want to put something up here, you can put your name in there. It's all up to you. And I'm going to show you how to do that in Google Slides. So what would it be important? Let's see. I have class period. I think that's important. but I need some more stuff in there. So I'm going to move this circle over. So we got class period. What else? I think we should do whatever week it is. Wouldn't that be helpful? Move it up. Oh, you know what'd be sick? Okay, I got an idea. Watch this. Okay, so we're going to move that. All I did, to do that, I'm going to explain how to do that. So I selected all of this, click, drag, and select. Then on your keyboard, you can hold the Option button. And then when you click and drag it off of it, it creates a new one. Okay? There we go. Okay, and then we can just say, want to put up here, want to put week number. And so then you can put in the week. Let's see. So week, I would say day. How about this? Let's put day. And then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a Monday. Oh no. I don't want it to be bigger. I just want to go further out. There we go. Nope, that's not working. Let's try this. Oh my goodness. Can I zoom in? Okay. We're just going to go here and I'll just make the text smaller. Okay. So I don't want that day to be so ginormous. So what size are these? I'm clicking on it. It's 13.2. So we're going to make this one 13.2. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to add it to where you can, in my mind, I'm going to make it where it says Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then when I make my Google slide, I'm going to do it to where you can drag like a circle over the top of it. I think that'll be kind of fun, right? Monday, Tuesday, Tuesday. Give me a 0. I don't want a 0. Okay, so we're going to copy the space in there. And I'm going to put it right here. Okay, if you're doing this with me, we're doing it. You're adjusting whatever you want. This will be Thursday and Friday. Oh, no, not find. Friday. In the comments, 1 to 10. How much did you love that song, Friday? Okay, I'm spacing these out a little bit more. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. This is going to help you get an idea of your week. There you go. Does those look spaced out? They look different. Is that better? Those look pretty even. I think we can use one more here. Sorry, you're getting to see the process of creation. So, okay, that definitely doesn't look right. Okay, remember, undo is Control-Z if you're on a PC or a Chromebook. It is Command-Z if you're on a Mac. Okay, we're rolling. We're rolling, people. We're rolling. Here we go. Okay, so we've got our lesson plan. I think we can actually make this even bigger. Okay, so we've got our date. We're going to be able to drag and drop a circle over it. We got our week number, which we can just write in. Let's see, class period. What do we need to do? Class period. I think that's good. You can say if it's like a specific class period, and we're going to make it with a Google Slides. So you can build it out. You can shrink it down. You can have the options to adjust that however you want. Okay. Should I put like another logo in it? I love the Baller Teacher logos. Stephen Overturf, shout out. So we could do Baller Teacher logo. What do you think? Does that look pretty sick or not? Baller Teacher logo. Hey, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? Y'all like that? If you don't like it, I mean, just don't use the template, okay? Baller Teacher lesson plan. I mean, that's pretty sick, right? Do we like that? I mean, I kind of like it. Maybe I'm a little, what is it? Biased? Because, it's the logo to my book. Baller Teacher lesson plan. Let's just stick with it. Is that cool? I don't know what looks good. I'm not a designer. If there's any designers out there, please don't criticize me. I'm doing my best here. Okay, so here we go. I think that's too much. That's too crowded. We're going to delete it. I'm sorry. I keep wanting to make fetch happen. Quit trying to make fetch happen, Tyler. Okay, lesson plan. We got the week number. We've got the class period. You know what we should put up here? Unit. Okay, so I'm going to rearrange this a little bit. We're going to move this up. And then I think I'm going to try to fit this in under here. Let's see if this fits. Can we do this? Is this happening? We're making fetch happen? Nope, it's too scrunched. Let's go down a little bit. Okay. We're going to hit the up. If you select it, you can go up a little bit. It's going to, look at that. That's not bad. I'm going to make this go down a little bit. There we go. We're getting our spacing. Okay. Okay, so we got the week number, we got the day, we got the class period. So let's do, is there anything else? Anything else? Throw in the chat. What are some other things that we could toss on here? If somebody's making one of these in real time. I said units, so we'll do that here. So I'm going to toss that option over. I'm just going to drag and drop. So that creates this. And I can change this to unit. Okay, I want you to be able to put in like, oh, we're doing chapter 5, or we're doing, American Revolution. Okay. There we go. Make this. Okay. Spacing is really wigging me out, and I apologize if it looks trashy. Okay. So we've got week number, day, class period, unit. Let's see what else. We could use, let me think. We could do, okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. We got objectives, I think that's solid. And then this could be overview. I kind of like overview, to be honest with you. And then we've got warm up, presentation, and assessments. Here's what I'm thinking. A lot of times the warm up is just like a link to something, like a link to a video or something you've done. I think presentation also is a link. And then assessment, I think that's a link as well. Because a lot of times, like, we're not going to write in a lot of this. We're going to link to it because I'm thinking this is like a virtual activity. So here's what I want to do. I want to make them to where they're all links. Okay, so we're going to shrink this down. Okay, I'm going to call this, what did I say? We've got objectives, we've got overview. Should that be standards? I think there should be standards, right? Let's do that. It's so important. Everybody cares about standards. All right. Then I've got like an idea of some things I could throw in there. So let's do warm up. And actually, I'm going to get rid of these dots. Like, I'm just thinking through, what does this look like? You know what you could do if you wanted to? If you made a lesson plan you liked, you could create it in Canva and then just use that template to build out, you could build out, like, every day go in and like add the page or duplicate the page and put it in. I wouldn't, but you could. You have options. Should I put teacher name? Well, you know who you are. You know who you are. Okay, so let's take this warm-up section and we're going to make a copy. I'm holding option, then dragging the new copy here. And then I'm going to go and do another one. Option, drag the copy here. Okay, and then I'm going to say we got warm-up is good. Then we're going to do, then we could do presentation. So how do you present it? Either video links or maybe what else? Could be presentation, could be a video link, could be linked to next to your website, could be your video, could be a slideshow, whatever. And then I think we do assessment. Oh, I got assessments at the bottom. Presentation, let's call this one supplementary resources. Supplementary resources. Supplementary, my dear Watson. We'll just put supplementary. Okay. And I've got the opening to Guardians of the Galaxy stuck in my head. So let's move this up. Okay. It looks like it's pretty even. Okay. So I've got assessment and exams. I don't know why that's on here. I say this is going to be reflection. See, is there anything else in my notes I think is important? For reflection, put assessment, presentation, warm-up, objectives. I think all this is pretty good. Are you guys cool with all this? Let's move this down because we're a little scrunched up. Here we go. We're going to go take all this, click and drag, and then we're going to move this down here. Let's do it right here. And then, you know what? We'll give me a shout out because, I made it. I mean, why not? It's mine. Let's take this. I'm going to hold option, make a copy. And then I'm going to be like, that's too much. I'm just going to go at $Tarver. And then we can do tarveracademy.com. And then we're going to shrink this down because we don't want myself being thrown out there like this. So we're going to shrink that down. It's okay. If you make a resource, if you're creating a resource, it is okay to say, hey, I made this resource. Like I think that's perfectly fine. But then again, I guess That's my opinion. Y'all seen that? Have y'all seen that meme where it's like, that's my opinion. Okay. There we go. Okay, so we toss that in there. If anybody wants it, there they go. Okay, there you go. All right, so we've got that. Let's make this like a little bit bigger because, y'all are ball teachers. Let's see. I wonder if you do like an outline on this thing. What do y'all think? Would it look good? I don't think so. I think we're good. Let's keep it simple. Let's make sure all of our stuff's lined up. Does this look like it's got our spacing correct? There we go. Now it's better. How are these? We can spread these out a little bit. We scrunched them up a little to fit everything in. So let's see. Go up, and goes up, goes down. All right, there we go. Class period. So right here, this will be like your informational stuff with regards to like when this is happening, like week, day, class period. And then this is the unit. Should I put subject? Ooh, subject should be up here. Yep, I think we should. Let's do this. We're going to do one more of these blocks. We're going to do option. Actually, maybe subject should go over here because this is our location stuff, like date, time, and everything. And then maybe this over here should be our subject area. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move this up. And then I'm going to duplicate this. Hold option. Go up. I don't want to do too much. That's the thing with whenever you create anything for teachers. It's not like we have a ton of time. Subject should be subject or course. Yeah, let's do subject. Actually, course. I'm sorry, I talked myself out of it. Okay, of course. There we go. Okay, so I think we've got on the left side, I think we do a good job of saying like, hey, here's when this is happening. On the right side, I think we do a good job of that one. I'm going to change the color of this to give it some variation. So let's take this. I'm going to hit the text. And then I'm going to change that color to, let's do this. There we go. That way it pops a little bit. And then I'm going to put one space here because this is wigging me out. Is that good? It's too much? Okay, the M and the T look like they have too much space. Sorry, I'm just trying to fill this out. Okay, I think I literally just undid everything that I did. Okay, so there we go. I think that's pretty good. Lesson plan. I feel pretty solid about it. Sweet. Okay, so now here's what we want to do. We are done with it in Canva. We're done with building this. This is the background. Now, I could print this off and make this, hey, there's your lesson plan, print it off. I don't want to do that. What I want to do is I want to hit download. You do not, because I want to put this as a background in Google Slides. I do not want to do this as a PDF. Now, you could save it as PDF. Say you just want to print it. It'll give you higher, like clear printing stuff. But I think what I want to do is I want to do a PNG or a JPEG. I'm going to go PNG just because I think it's higher quality for you save some space. So I'm going to download. Let that download. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in and we are going to create, we're going to put it in a Google Drive, or not a Google Drive. We are going to put it in our Google Drive, but we're going to put that into a Google Slide. So what I recommend, whenever you're making this, do not start with a blank Google Slide. Use something you've already done, copy it, and then adjust that. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So I'm going to do, I think I've got, do I have a folder just for, no, templates on slides. So I do have a folder for slides. So we're going to go here. And I want to go in and I want to make a copy of lesson plans. There we go. And we'll just do weekly lesson plans because I've been making stuff in full semester, but I don't think people care about that, to be honest with you. So we'll just do weekly lesson plans. I'm going to do right click. I'm going to do make a copy. Remember, do not start from scratch. You can use any of my templates. They're all linked to my website. Tarver Academy. I didn't take this off. I'm sorry. tarveracademy.com/resources. If you want any lesson plans, any of that stuff, it's all there. And if you're on the honor roll, you're going to get that. So tarveracademy.com/resources. Start it, make a copy. I give you permission. Make a copy of that stuff and then adapt them to fit what you need in your class. Okay? Sweet. So lesson plans. We'll call this one, I don't want to title this because I've already got some lesson plans, but I need to, how could I title? I could title this, trying to think of something that differentiates. These honestly look more high school-y than my last ones. My last lesson plans, these are more, they feel more, 6th, 7th grade and down. So I think that maybe we can do high school lesson plans here. And that's how we'll title those. So we'll do high school. All right. And there's just some info about me. I put this on all my templates that I give out for free and just helps them out. So here's the reason. I've already got my backgrounds kind of set up. Look at this. I've already got my templates. I can pull down and use any of my navigation stuff I've created. You have access to all this if you go make a copy of one of my free resources. So you'll have access to all of these slides and templates that I've made. Now, we go in. I'm going to do this. I feel like this is all pretty clean. I don't feel like I need to do anything to that. It all looks good. Actually, I might move this box down. It bothers me a little bit. So I'm going to take this box. I'm going to move it down just a little bit. I'm going to do it with a little. Oh, never mind. That worked. Okay. I click to add the title of the course. I made a little navigation page to where you can click and it'll bounce to whatever day of the week you want. I just think that's convenient. And then I've got these 2 slides. I always put in these 2 slides. I think they're super helpful for students and educators alike. Make it a hub. This can be like your quick links. It's almost like a bookmarks bar or things that you go to frequently. You can put those right here. Then we want to leave this where they can put the week number in. I think week at a glance still applies. Now, here's my other lesson plan. Do you see where this feels more like maybe it's made for lower grades because it's like talking about activities, starters, all that? Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to go in and we are going to import our new background. Now, I could just import the background and put it in there and replace it, but I want to add this as a actual I want to add it as an actual piece in my master collection. So I'm going to go to View, Master. Then I'm going to go to it. Go to Master Slides. This is where you can go in and create stuff that's in your dropdown, okay? I highly recommend, especially once you get comfortable with creating resources, start building out some master slides. You're going to be able to add to your repertoire of things that you are creating. And these are just some of the ones I've made over the past, 6 to 8 months. And so let's go in. I'm going to find my lesson plan one. Where are you, little buddy? I've already seen it. Where is it? Lesson plan, lesson plan. Lesson plan, lesson plan. I'm singing to stall to find my lesson plan. Here we go, here we go. Okay, because I could just change it right here. I don't want to change it yet because I want to have this as an option as well. I want both of them as options. There it is, lesson plan, found it. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna duplicate this. So I want to hit Option, drag, just like we talked about with Canva, and then, actually I'm just gonna hit copy. Select that, hit Command copy, and then Command paste. And then it's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. It's gonna do it. There it is. Okay, so now I've got 2 of these. I'm not gonna mess it up. I need to title it. This is something I wish I would have done. I could go in and do it. It'd take me like 10 minutes, but I need to go in and I need to title it. I'm gonna call this Lesson Plan High School. Rename. And I'm gonna put this, I'm naming the slide High School. Okay. Now I'm going to import that background that we just created. And it's up and it's up. Here we go. I'm going to go to background and I'm going to choose the image. And then I'm just going to drag and drop what I just created. Yeet. Just going to yeet that into there. Yeet. Sorry. I love saying that. I coach my oldest son's soccer team and my younger son, but my older son, I coach his team. And I like to say, I make the students say, the players say yeet whenever they throw the ball in, on the sidelines. They have to go yeet. And then whenever the goalie throws the ball out, I make him say yeet as well. I don't make him. I highly recommend it. It's not uploading. What's the deal? Let's just go to browse. Okay. Oh, there it is. It's working. I'm just doing it. I'm messing it up. Okay. So, okay, I can hit this. I'm going to delete that text. Now I need to start adjusting some of this stuff. So like these, apparently I thought I'd made that in Canva. It looks like I didn't. I guess I made it in here. But with me making it in here, I can do this. I can do some of this little chicken nugget. I can move that over, up. Okay. It's not really what I want, but we'll go with it. I'm creating my text boxes. These are the spots where I'm going to, let's see if we can zoom in. You're gonna let me zoom in? Nope. Cool, you're just gonna skip around. Oh my goodness, go back. There we go. Okay, so I need to get rid of topic. Sorry, my computer is figuring out how to work. Okay, and you're doing this at home, right? Are you guys doing this? You're like, oh no, I had forgot. It's okay. We're gonna get there. Okay. So I'm gonna shrink this down. I don't want text to get crazy. And you can choose the default for how this text goes. They added that in there, that feature. Good job, Google. Not really what I'm wanting. I want it to go a little tighter. Nope. It feels pretty good, right? Pretty clean. Okay, so I'm going to clear out this box. Okay, I'm just actually going to clear all this out because this is super complicated to look at all this. So we're just going to delete all of that. Excellent. So I've got this, and now I can choose right here. I can say do not auto fit. I want shrink text on overflow because I want it to shrink around the box. Okay, and you have a bunch of options there. So now I'm just going to hold option, and I'm going to drag and put the other ones right here. There we go. Same thing here. Oh no, I messed that up. No, I did it right. Let's go up. Perfect, but I think it'll work. Unit, let's go over a little bit so they have more room to work with. Have more room over here? Yeah, we got to get over here. Okay, same thing here. I'm going to go and add these over. Add option. All right, we're rolling. We're rolling. We're almost done, everybody. We're doing great. Okay, I'm going to add objectives. Remember, I've got it to shrink text and overflow, but I want to give as much room as possible to work with. There we go. I'm going to do the same thing here. Once you get one set how you want, it's a lot easier to adjust because you're just dragging and making your copies. So good. Okay, and this one I'm going to make a little bit bigger because I've got more room. Oh, I wanted to make a number line. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to make a number line. How did this lesson go? And then they could rate it on the number line. I guess I'll just say that for the next lesson plan. Man, that would have been sick. I forgot about that. Okay. Now I need one of these. You're going to come with me. I'm going to put it right here. Okay. There we go. Then we're going to make that duplicate there. There. You guys having fun? Y'all doing this? Y'all feeling good? In the chat, let me know. What of this process have you not done? What of this process have you done? I would love to know. I would love to know. Okay, then we're going to bring that in a little tighter. There we go. Now we should have boxes on all of this. So let's see how this worked out. So we've got lesson plan. We've got this. I feel like I've got it. Remember, I'm going to show you how to do this part, and then you're going to get to do the rest of this. Okay, sweet. I think we're good to go. I think we're good to go. So I'm just going to click over here on the left where my slides are. Not there. I'm going to click over here on the left where the slides are. That way I can click out of it. I'm going to go back to Monday. Okay, so here's what I want to do. I've got that. Now I want to go in and I'm going to add my new slide that I just created. So I'm going to click my drop down. I could have replaced these slides, but I didn't want to mess up this one in my master in case it's connected to any other presentations. So we're going to take this one. This is the one we want. Let's make sure we have everything the way we want it. Okay. Okay, it's a little, I don't know, it looks a little cluttered. I wonder if I need to set, oh, I've got it set to shrink on autoflow. So I think we're good. You would just click to add you click to add all the text. I think we're good. Okay, so here's what I need to do. I need to delete my other slides. So I'm going to click this slide and hit delete. And I'm going to click this. And I'm going to scroll down, hold shift, and delete that. And then I am going to I want to create something where they can drag over the top of this. Okay, so they could fill it in. It looks like I think we're solid. Does this one go kind of long? Look how long that is. We don't need that. Oh, that's unit. That's not supposed to be there. Ooh, good catch. So we're going to view. Thank you, whoever pointed that out. Going to go to master. And I'm going to go in and delete this because it don't belong. Get out of here. You was hiding in plain sight. Okay. I wonder if we can make this look better. Shrink on autoflow. It did that. I just don't want it to like run over the top of it. Maybe we turn this into, let's see. Should we change it, the text box style to make it just a text box? But I like the size of the subtitle. Let's just leave it as is. Okay. You're going to fill it out anyways. So there you go. All right. So we got that. I think we're rolling. Where is this? Let's see. Okay, so I've got that. I feel like I'm good. Got all the stuff filled in. We need to create this. So I need to create a circle. And I'm going to create a shape. And it's going to be a circle. And I'm going to put it right here. And then I want to make it a good circle. Right size. Not right there. That's not where I want it to go. I want it to go down here. Okay. Now, I want it to be a circle that goes around that. So actually, I'll make it a little smaller. There you go. I think that's good. We're going to find out in a second. So I need to make the middle of it transparent. So I'm going to click on this, make it transparent. And then I want to do, let's do this. Let's do the navy one because I've already got red in there. Is that navy? Did I select navy? I think I did. Yeah, I did. Boom. So we got navy. And then I'm going to make the border just a little bit bigger. So make it like a 3. Is that good? Okay, let's try this out. So I'm pretending I'm a teacher. I'm like, oh, I want to circle what day it is. I'm going to click this and drag it to Wednesday. There you go. And then you will be good. Okay, so I'm going to click this and go down. Actually, they can just do this. And then they can drag it over. Yeah, buddy. We're doing it. Okay, does that make sense? And they can drag it over the top of it. Okay. I'm going to make a text box telling them they can do that. Just to kind of guide them. Hint, drag the circle over the day of the week. Do that. Make it bold. How about a little bit of spice? Actually, I'll make it light. I don't want it to go crazy. We're going to change the font color. We're going to put it as red. There we go. All right, so let's just drag that over the top of this. And we're going to put it right here. There we go. People can delete that if they get sick of it. Okay. Hint, drag the circle over the day of the week. Solid. We're doing it. Make this bold. Just let hint know it's bold. Hints are important. Okay. Now we've got one, so we need to make multiple pages of this. So all I'm going to do is select this, hit copy, and then I want to paste. I've got 1 day of the week. I need 4 more. So paste, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, I forgot one thing I should have done. I could have made an invisible box for people to click my links on my stuff. You know what? We might as well do it. Y'all want to? We're in here. We might as well. Might as well do it. Here we go. I'm just going to delete this and this. And delete. Okay, I'm going to show you how to make an invisible link box. Y'all ready for this? Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a shape. I'm going to do a rectangle. And I'm going to drag it over my information down here. Okay? Now, sorry. That was gross. Okay, so now I want to make it to where it is transparent on the inside and transparent on the outside. Now, I want to make it link out to something. So I can make it link to my username or my website. I could have made 2. We're here. Let's make 2 boxes. So I can do this over here on my name. And I can have it link out. I guess I'll have it linked to my Instagram. Why not? So Instagram.com/Tyler Tarver, because I do daily tips on there. So maybe they like that. And then I can just hold Option, click and drag. Now I have a second one. And I can drag this over my website. And now I can make it Tarver Academy.com. Academy.com. I think that's good. Okay. You know what we could also do? We could also do the same thing for the Butler Teacher. If you want to be a Butler Teacher, you can buy the Butler Teacher Playbook. So I can make it here. Now, people can delete this. Honestly, they're probably never even going to click on this, but it gives them an option if they want, bit.ly/baller teacher. Apply. This transparent. This transparent. Bam. So now we have transparent there, transparent here. Did I just click it or did I make a copy? There it is. That one works. Did this one not work? I think I actually deleted it. Yeet. So we're going to hold Option. Make sure we're holding Option. Making the copy. I was afraid of this. Okay, so now let's adjust this back. Okay, sorry about that. Now, this is how, that's not how you do it. Tarver. Okay, great. Now you've done it. Now I need to go make those copies. So I've got a Monday one. Now I need to make it for Tuesday through the rest of the week. Hit Command C. Then we got Command V. Wait for it to pop up. I think I went too fast last time and I lost a little bit of steam. Paste it again. It's 3, 4, and 5. Now, I'm going to show you what it looks like whenever I go in. Let's do the whole process. Is that cool? So we went to Canva. We created the background. Tossed into Google Slides, made this. Now, you want to make this resource available to anybody, okay? So what you're going to do, let's make sure we got everything. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of the week. This got moved. What is this? Oh, man, I put the days of the week in there wrong. So let's do this. I need to drag these 3 up. It's always good to check it again. I almost sent it out, and it was going to look ratchet. So go right there. Okay, so now we're good. It flows into the days of the week. Then big reflection from the week into the week reflections. And then lesson plans by me. What's up? Okay, sweet. I think we're good to go. Okay, and also I have this slide in the beginning. It's just kind of like telling people about myself, stuff I offer, the free things they can be connect with, and then some of the stuff they want to upgrade. Okay, so you can do the same thing there. Especially if you give them free resource, I don't feel bad. Honestly, I do this page on Teachers Pay Teachers as well if I toss it on that. Now, I want people to have it, so I want to put share. And then I want to say anyone with the link can view. Okay, this just takes out any access issues you might run into later. So we're going to go to change. And we want anyone with the link. Okay, so done. Now, anyone with the link can view it. I don't want that because then you're going to have people requesting access. You're going to have people hitting you up. You don't want that because then you're going to see people in here if you ever go change it. This is what I recommend. Go up here. You go to your address bar, and then somewhere near the end of your address bar, there's going to be the word edit, E-D-I-T. You want to find that, and then you want to highlight everything from the E in edit all the way to the end and delete it. Then you want to type copy. When you do that, I'm going to copy the whole link now. You have created a force make a copy. So for your resource, when somebody clicks the link, it's going to force make a copy. So now I want to go to Solo, which I highly recommend. Let me give you the link for Solo. If you don't have Solo and you're making resources I honestly now recommend teachers, instead of creating a Google site or a Wix, I tell them just create a Solo account. They have free ones, but they also have some pretty affordable paid ones. I'm going to, okay, hold on. Let me add this on here. It's bit.ly/Tarver Solo. Do it through me because that way they just like it whenever I recommend people to their website. And if you ever do pay, it doesn't cost you any more, but then I get like an affiliate amount. So I get like some change on that every month because you did it. So I highly recommend, especially if you're creating resources, doing stuff, everything you do is trying to add to the greater library of what you're doing. And it's also better if you do it this way. You could get a better account just because you're recommending it to people and you're helping them out. So I'll go to my Solo. I'll go to my page that I've already created. Now I want to go down. I want to add a link. So I'm going to add new link. And that's where I'm going to put my link in here. Bam. And then I want to title it High School Lesson Plan Template. Okay, and then a custom, and I'm going to tell them Google slide. I try to be as clear as possible with what I'm offering because I have a ton of resources on my Solo. So it's like I need to be specific. Google Slides template. Okay. A lot of people, what they'll do when they create free resources is like you go to their website and you sign up for their email list to get the free resource. I haven't done that yet. I probably should. I'd have way more people on my email list than I do. But you live and you learn. So I'm gonna hit custom thumbnail because I went and created some custom thumbnails for this. I think they're on my desktop. I need to sort by kind. I think it's under thumbnails. And it's good to have these things in places you can find. Sorry, that's my dog. I want to create these. It's a template. There we go. Hit open. I need to create. I don't like this design that I made. I try to make it clear. I'm not a fan. I'm going to go in and change them soon. Hit done. Now I'm going to move this down a little bit. Don't want it to be like my books, first one, then my website. Just kind of want to order of importance there. I'm going to scroll down. Where are you at? Come on, little buddy. Come on, little buddy. TikTok Teacher Conference. What's up? Going to keep rolling these down. The adaptive quiz template. We'll put it under there. And I'll move it down later. The thing with solo is you got to make sure to save it. Okay, so I'm going to scroll down. And I'm going to hit save. Bam. Now, whenever people go to the link in my bio, they're going to be able to see this resource. Click it, and it makes a copy for them. So there you go. That's how you make that resource. We use Canva, we import it into slides, and then we put it into solo. The whole process. Thank you guys so much. If you have any questions, throw it in the chat or hit me up. We'll answer them. We're going to keep learning together. Peace. Bye. Bye. We did it. We did it. We learned something. Did you learn something today? In the chat, I want you to put the thing that you are taking away from today. Put one thing in the chat right now that you have learned or that you have realized or that's reinforced something you think. Put that one that I like to call this the golden nugget. Put the golden nugget from today in the chat. And that way, if somebody's missed it or they checked in, go ahead and you guys can copy paste what other people put. If there's some advice, you can screenshot it. Get this. I want you to throw in the best thing you learned today. It's like a best of highlight reel for your favorite thing that happened during this training. Toss that in the chat right now so we can share and grow together. Okay, we're about to do the evaluation. Before we do, I want to remind you, if you want access to this entire training at any time throughout the year, not just these live broadcasts, you can join the Tarver Academy Honor Roll. Why'd I do this? Hey guys, Tarver Academy Honor Roll. It's like Netflix for teachers. Netflix for teachers, because you have resources, you have templates, you have PDs, trainings. It's literally like a library of trainings, and then access to ask questions, to request resources that I build and send out to teachers all around the world. So tarveracademy.com/honor roll if you want to join the greatest community on the planet. And I'm not biased at all. I mean, all of us, you're on the honor roll. You want to be on the honor roll? Sick. Let's all be on the honor roll. And I'm a dean, so keep me on the dean's list. Hey, that works. Okay. All right. Now it's time for your evaluation. I'd love to get your thoughts on what you thought for this, but also I'm going to send you a certificate saying that you sat through this training. You put in the time. You wanted to learn. You wanted to grow. You wanted to get better. This is going to be a certificate that I'm going to email to you. What I need you to do is I need you to go to the link on the screen or hover over the QR code with your phone. Get your phone out, hover over it. It's going to ask you a few questions. If you don't get this, it means that you put your email address in wrong. Make sure, please do not rush this. Type your email address in correctly. Please, I'm begging you, because if not, you're going to email me, I never got my certificate. It's because your email address is wrong. Type it in, type in your email address correctly, fill it out, fill out your name, make sure you capitalize, make it look good, because it's going to fill into the certificate from this. So I need you to put this in correctly, please. Okay, go there. We're going to walk you through it. Go into this, click on the link, or is it, you can't click on the link because it's on a video. Type in the link on your computer or type it in on your phone or whatever device you have. Scan the QR code, fill it out. I'm going to send you a certificate with a timestamp on it saying what time you ended. You have proof from earlier if you sent in to the other link of what time you started. And then you also got your notes and all the stuff you've learned, your screenshots, all of that to show your administrator or whoever, your spouse. You show your friends, show people on the streets, all the learning that you did. You can frame that certificate. I think we're all getting framed. You get a frame? I'm getting framed. I'm gonna put it up on my shelf. I got too much stuff on my shelf already. So look at this, Lonzo Ball rookie card. If you got any, by the way, you got any basketball cards you want to sell? Hit me up. I've been slightly obsessed with basketball cards, and I apologize for bringing it up. Look at this. This is all Lonzo Ball. Lonzo Ball, I mean, he's the GOAT. Everybody says it. Who's in the chat? Who is your favorite basketball player of all time? I'd love to know. If it's Lonzo Ball, it's quite the coincidence because I had it sitting on my desk. If not, it's probably this guy. Probably this guy right here. See that guy? That's Michael Jordan. No big deal. It's whatever. Don't like to brag about it. I mean, it's not that expensive, that card. But if you got any cards you want to sell, holler at me. I don't know why I said that. I'm just stalling so you guys can fill out your evaluation. All right. Y'all feel good? I'm gonna leave this on the screen for you for a little while in case you had to step out for a second. I'm gonna leave this up. Thank you again so much for your attention and your time and everything that you put into learning and growing with us today. I'm Tyler, this is Tarver Academy. Let's learn to have fun. See you guys later.